Jake Asman Show will begin shortly. Thanks to all these great Patreon members who help support the show. Get your super chats ready. Jake will be here in just a moment. If you love the New York Jets, this is the place to be. And now, the Jake Asman Show.
Another brutal Jet loss, another weekly conversation with Joe Benigno on the Jake Asman Show, and that starts right now.
But I'm just saying here, setting the record straight, this show is about positivity and having a good time and yucking it up. I love this show. I do this shit for free.
Yeah. We bleed Jets green each and every day. This is not the same old Jets. We have Aaron freaking Rodgers. We have Garrett Wilson. Let's go. We have Breece Hall. Please subscribe and hit the like button below. Super chat, baby. Cut the line. We have Sauce Gardner. We have Quinnen Williams. The Jet bandwagon is loaded. Now it's time to talk all things New York Jets. It's the Jake Asman Show. Here we go, Jet fans. Welcome in, everybody. Click that like button. Make sure you are subscribed to the channel if you haven't done so already. Reminder, starting tomorrow through all the way next Friday, I'm hosting our morning show on ESPN New York, 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. So get up early with me and tune in as Maniacs. If you guys call in, we'll make sure you get on right away. So that's 8:80 a.m. or the ESPN New York app. Will be in for Rick DiPietro and Dave Rothenberg starting once again tomorrow all the way through the 2nd of January. So 2 weeks, 9 shows in Morning Drive starting tomorrow. Joining us right now in his weekly spot on the show is the great Joe B. Joe Benigno. Joe, happy Festivus, Merry Christmas, happy holidays, and of course, another Jet loss.
Well, it's a good thing it's Festivus because I got a lot of bitching to do, okay, about my crummy football team. I mean, how about yesterday? Just another game that was there to be won, and the Jets just make mistake after mistake after mistake to lose the football game. The kicker again, he misses an extra point, he misses a field goal. The penalties, this time the offensive penalties. You know, only our team can get back-to-back illegal man downfield penalties on consecutive plays. Holding penalties. How about the penalty? This is unbelievable. How about on that late in the game, they're down 19-9. Okay, they're getting ready to kick the field goal, but this idiot Ulbrich, who's just a disaster as a head coach, decides, let's go for it again after he missed it like 3 times already that they went for it on 4th down and didn't get it, right? So he decides to go for it instead of just kicking the field goal right there. And Max Mitchell, who's in for Fasten, who, of course, got hurt. Why wouldn't he, right? They caught him off, of course. Well, of course, typical Jets. Max Mitchell jumps offside on false start that cost him 5 yards. If he just would have kicked the field goal right there, maybe that penalty doesn't happen. Of course, Carlson misses the freaking field goal. I mean, just unbelievable. And then just to add, just to have the topper of the day, this stiff Gibson fumbles the punt on the final, muffs the punt there to basically ice the game for the Rams. Not that they were going to win anyway. By the way, Jake, we had this guy for 1 week that returned the kickoff 100 yards for a touchdown against Seattle. Where is this guy? What happened to him?
I think he got hurt. He's done.
Got hurt.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, Gibson stinks. I've had enough of him.
He's terrible.
He's terrible. I can't take it anymore. Obviously, they basically gifted the Rams 2 touchdowns. The first one when they go for it on 4th and 1 on their own 39-yard line, which, by the way, I didn't have a great problem with that. But don't run the ball into the middle of the line.
Where's Braylon Allen? Why is Braylon Allen on this team if you can't give it to him on 4th and 1?
But I wouldn't even do that. I would have had Rodgers throw the ball. How many times have they hit fourth downs when he threw the ball? I would have had him throw. Why not? And, of course, they get a short field. They score a touchdown there. They couldn't stop Kyron Williams all day. He killed him running the ball. They get a short field for a touchdown. And then Rodgers has that fumble later on when it's 9-9 after he missed. And, I love Rodgers, but he missed Adams down the sideline to play before. He fumbles, another short field, and they gift him a touchdown there. Unbelievable. I mean, I'm disgusted. I really, bro. And I thought, I don't know if I mentioned this or not. To me, they're up 9-6. They have this long drive coming out of halftime. They got a 4th and 4 in the red zone, wherever it was. What are you doing going for? Kick the field goal there. Take a 6-point lead. Now, maybe the guy would have missed it anyway because the kicking game is a disaster. But kick the field goal there and take a 6-point lead. Those 3 points turned out to be huge in the game. I mean, what are you doing going for it there? Look, there were times I agree going for it, but not in that spot. You have a 6 or 7 minute drive like they had there. They hit a bunch of third downs. I think they hit a 3rd and 14 where he hit Garrett Wilson for the first down. They had a 4th down they hit. Take the points. What are you doing? This Ulbrich, man. He has no idea what he's doing as a head coach. And how about even before the field goal that they didn't get at the end of the game? Rodgers wanted timeout. What timeout? He's looking at Ulbrich, and Ulbrich's not calling timeout. What are you doing?
I mean, Joe, the inability for this team to handle routine NFL game scenarios. I mean, it's
unbelievable.
It's remarkable. And I understand, Ulbrich was put in a tough spot, but I'm tired of having to say that before we give
right.
The guy's been terrible. If it was his first game, I would maybe understand him panicking at the end and making a mistake. He has now coached 10 games as this team's interim head coach, and they got a gift last week that they were playing Mac Jones, which is the only reason why they were able to win the game, because how we handled the clock at the end of last week was completely terrible. And then yesterday, there's so many examples of it. I mean, the end of the first half, 3 timeouts in his pocket. He allows a delay a game to potentially ruin that drive. It's just there's so many things. And it's, once again, another loss that if they had a real coach, I think you could argue they would have won. If Sean McVay's coaching the Jets yesterday, they win the game. I mean, the Jets are 9-6 with a real coach right now. That's really how I look at it. When I look at all these games they've lost, another game yesterday, they had the lead in the 4th quarter. They lose. Another game where they have a chance to win and they completely unravel late. And I think so much of the issues with this team all stems from the fact they're probably the worst coached team in the NFL.
Yeah. I mean, look, the biggest mistake made all year was Woody firing Saleh when he did. Even though we weren't against it, that has really come back to kick this team in the rear end. And, and now the latest, if the latest from the media, now they're trying to push Garrett Wilson out of town. I mean, you see what they're doing now. And this idea that he had 9 targets yesterday. He caught 6 passes. What are you trying? You're trying to tell me he's not seeing the ball? He's going to have 1,000-yard receiving year. He's going to catch close to 100 passes. And you're telling me that he's not seeing the ball enough? That's BS all the way. And he just wants to win. I don't think he really wants to leave. He wants to win.
I think he's frustrated. And any new regime that comes in should extend Garrett Wilson. And also, he could request a trade because he's pissed off. But the bottom line is this. He's under contract next year, the following year, and they have the franchise tag. The Jets would be out of their minds to even consider trading him.
No question about it. And let's be honest about this too, okay? Devontae Adams is better. I mean, I love Garrett Wilson, but Devontae Adams is a Hall of Famer. I mean, how good has he been? I don't know what his numbers are since he got to the Jets. They got to be pretty damn good. He caught another touchdown yesterday. He should have had another one. It was a tough catch. I guess it was on the drive, right? I think it was the drive before halftime when he got the field goal, right? He had it up in his hands. It was a tough kind of circus catch, but he couldn't hold on to the ball. Maybe the defensive back got a piece of it, knocked. I don't know. But I thought he should have had that one too. Lazard dropped a couple more. Alan Lazard, the king of the drop pass, dropped a couple more again yesterday. The Jets lead the NFL in drop passes, which is no surprise. You know my feeling, man. You're not getting better quarterback play next year than you're getting from Rodgers. Rodgers has been good. You say whatever you want about him. He has had a much better year than the critics want to admit. Okay, let's start with that. He needs to come back. He's got a lot in the tank. There's no doubt about it. They have to get a real freaking head coach in here. Mike Vrabel wants the job. What are we waiting for? Forget about this consulting firm crap. Okay, you want consult me, consult Jake. We'll tell you what to do, Woody. We'll get it done for you. Okay, you cannot bring another first-time coordinator in here. You bring him in, another one of these geniuses that wants to reinvent the NFL. They'll let Rodgers go, right? They'll try to start from scratch, and you know what? 3 years from now, we'll be looking for a head coach again. That's exactly what will happen. You have to get a legitimate guy in here. Woody cannot drop the ball here, okay? I've said this, just as important as this, as it was a must win in this election this year, that's how just as important, okay, maybe Woody understands this, just as important that it is a must hit with the coach that you hire. Must hit. No other way to say it, bro. And you got to bring Rodgers back. I want Adams back. I want Wilson happy. I want all of that. Hopefully Fassinu is going to be all right going forward next year. They got to get this defense straight. Defense didn't play bad yesterday, to be very honest. I thought the defense played all right. They didn't have
what helped them? They weren't on the field that much because the offense, they had the ball for 33 minutes of the game yesterday. So that helped the defense a lot.
Right. Quentin Williams didn't play, although he hasn't really played for a month, so we didn't miss him. Sauce Gardner got hurt again. What a shock. He's sitting on the sideline. Sauce, maybe it's time to stop doing commercials and start getting healthy and actually starting playing up to the potential that you have. Let's be honest. Derek Stingley with the Texans is better. Jalen Ramsey is still better.
This year, Stingley's been better. This year, Stingley's been better. But I'll tell you this, Joe. Sauce the first 2 years was a much better player than Stingley, as someone who covered Stingley.
What's so good about him? He's got 2 interceptions in his entire career. He's dropped just as many as he's gotten. Well, you tell me what's so freaking good about Sauce Gardner?
He's still very good. I get it, but he's still very good in coverage. And he was 2-time All-Pro his first 2 years.
The NFL is Sauce Gardner. And this freaking guy wasn't even on the field in the second half. Give me a freaking break.
I get it.
We need a coach that's going to come in here and stick his foot up freaking Sauce's ass. Wake up and smell the coffee, Sauce, okay? Sauce, please.
I think you're a little hard on Sauce, but I get it. I get the frustration. I will say this, though. I think with a real coach, Sauce Gardner is back to being what he's been.
Okay. I won't look. I'm not saying I want to get rid of him. I agree with you. He needs a big stick up his ass. So does Quentin Williams, another guy, okay, who's done nothing this year. I mean, come on, what has he done? He's stumped this year for all the money that they paid him.
Well, the D-line's a joke, Joe. I mean, how about Hassan Reddick? He has a half a sack in 8 games.
Is he even play? Is he
Kenny
in protection? No, where is he?
Kenny Yeboah had more tackles yesterday than Hassan Reddick did. I mean, this is what we're talking about. And so Joe Douglas could bitch and moan about, how bad Woody is, and that's why I sucked at my job. Dude, Woody Johnson's not telling you to completely dismantle the defensive line that's been the biggest strength of the defense the last couple of years. I mean, it's a joke.
Right. Joe Douglas let Franklin Myers go. He let Huff go. Look, not enough has been made about the Mosley injury because that's hurt them. I know Sherwood's played okay. But the C.J. Mosley injury has been a big deal. Obviously, the Jermaine Johnson injury has been a big deal as well. This team needs a lot of help on defense. And they need a kicker. Bro, the kicking game has been a disaster.
Awful.
Between Zerline, this guy yesterday, he couldn't make an extra point. He missed a field goal he needed to make. They still would have been in the game. They would have been down a touchdown. They could have kicked it deep because they still had 3 timeouts at that point in the game. I can't take it anymore. But I was so disgusted again. I know the season's over. They're 4-11, but I was so disgusted after this game. And here's the other thing, too. All right, this idea about a better draft choice. Give me a break. They're not going to get much better than they are now. They're picking 8th right now. It's not who you pick. It's not where you pick. It's who you pick. That's it. I don't want to hear about draft choice nonsense. I'm tired of that. All right. Let's pick the right guy. Let's get the right defensive player in here because that's what they need in the first round next year. That's it. Absolutely.
I mean, it's yet another game where you just go, man, if they had a real coach, what would be the result? And I keep coming back to that. I mean, it's the 6th time this year, Joe. They had the lead entering the 4th quarter and lost. It's the most in the NFL. They've lost 7 games this season by 6 points or fewer. That doesn't include yesterday where if Obrick had a clue whether or not they were just going to kick the field goal or they handled it differently. That's another one of those losses that would actually fall in that category. It's maddening because we've seen bad Jet teams before, but this team is bad because of the coaching and the kicking game. It's not a lack of talent. There's some things they got to clean up, and the defense has got to be revamped. But there's enough here to be way better than a 4-win team. It's insane when you really think about it.
We've had the best quarterback play we've had in 10 years here. Yeah. I mean, let's cut the crap. Everybody wants to push Rodgers out the door. You're making a major mistake if you do that. Major mistake. And
if
I'm
they
telling
do
you,
move on from him, Joe, what would be your plan there? Because if a new regime
there's
comes
no plan. There's no plan. What's their plan? What are you going to do? You think, first of all, let's start with this. Sam Darnold is now 13-2 in Minnesota. You think the Vikings are not going to give this guy a contract and make them the quarterback? They're out of their minds. They're not letting this guy go. Let's wake up and smell the coffee there. Who's going to be your guy? Justin Fields? Come on. Justin Fields isn't a pimple on Aaron Rodgers' ass. I mean, let's tell it like it is. You're not getting anybody better to be the quarterback next year. What are you going to do? Draft a guy in the second round and start him? No. You want to draft a guy in the later rounds. I'm good with that. But he's got to sit behind Rodgers. And Rodgers can teach him. I think maybe at this point Rodgers would be amenable to that because he's going to be 42 years old. But you're not getting better quarterback play than what you're getting from this guy. I mean, let's cut it already. I am beyond livid. I really. And I'll tell you something too. I am so sick of the writers that cover this team. I'm ripping them all, man. It's time to get these. There's been too many guys that have been there too long that just want to continue to see this team be bad. That's really all it is. They want to see this team be crap in perpetuity so they continue to be a laughing stock. It's a better story for them. They could give a rat's ass if the Jets ever win another game in the history of the franchise. So let's tell it like it is there too. I'm sick of them too. Give me, I know they don't, they can all, I'm sure they don't love me anyway. Who gives a damn? I am livid, bro, with what's gone on with this franchise this year. Livid. And why would I think that Woody's not going to make another goddamn mistake here? I don't want Liam Cohen. I don't want this guy Johnson. I don't want Aaron Glenn. I want a professional head coach in here that wants to win now. This team can win next year immediately with what they have if you get the right freaking head coach in here. And to me, that's Mike Vrabel. He should be here now, to be very honest with you. Now.
I'm going to play you something, Joe. And I don't love the guy who said it, but I'll take him at face value here. This is from Friday's Colin Cowherd program.
I talked to Mike Vrabel. Mike said, he said, I would take the Jets job. I just don't know who the GM would be. I'd have to like the GM.
Then get him. If this guy wants the job, ask him what GM he's comfortable with.
That was his GM in Tennessee. They were interviewing this guy anyway. Get him here, okay? Or hire Vrabel and let him bring his own GM. I don't care.
Bingo.
I really don't, bro. If they don't hire, this guy wants the job. What the hell are you? He wants the job because he knows Rodgers still has something. And he knows if he comes here next year, he can win with this team. Let's be honest about it. This is the guy. I love Rex. I love Brian Flores. But if Mike Vrabel wants this job, what the hell are you waiting for, Woody? Bring him in and let Vrabel hire the general manager. I got no problem with that at all.
Completely agree. And I by the way, I don't think John Robinson would be the GM Vrabel would want. They didn't get along at the end because John Robinson is the one who traded away A.J. Brown without telling Vrabel he was going to do that. So that was the end.
Then that's fine.
That
so give Vrabel a job, and he can make me the GM. Let's go. We'll have a tandem GM. Me, Jake Osman, Tommy Keenan, Ira in Staten Island, Kenny Scarabaggio. I can go right up down the line with these people. Let's go.
I agree.
Let's go, bro. Fireman Ed, bring them all in. We'll be co-GMs, and we'll win. What do you want to do, Mike? Okay, fine. Let's go.
That to me is what they need to do. This is very similar. It feels like to what happened in '96 to the end of Kotite, and then Parcells comes in when Leon Hess finally got serious about trying to win, and they go from 1-15 to 9-7 a year later. They're in the championship game. It feels like the culture is so
9-7 that first year, by the way. But I don't want to get into that. But go ahead.
All right, but you understand what I'm saying? There's talent here, and it just feels like the building needs to be entirely fumigated, which is the stench of losing that just engulfs everyone in there. And the only way to fix it is to bring in someone that players respect, that's established. And by the way, if you hire Vrabel, who went to Ohio State, and would be furious with the idea of trading away another number one wide receiver after what happened with A.J. Brown, Garrett Wilson gets an extension. He doesn't get traded if Mike Vrabel's your head coach.
Right, and Rodgers is the quarterback. And I'm telling you, one of the reasons Vrabel wants the job is because he sees that Rodgers can still play, and he knows he can win with this team next year. There's no doubt about it. Vrabel's not coming here to rebuild. That's not happening. This is the guy that should be the coach of the team. Woody, what the F are you waiting for?
That's the guy. That's the guy. Comments, questions, super chats for Joe. Ask away any questions. We're in the holiday season here, the holiday spirit. We got the Joe B Jet Santa hat on, Joe. I'm a big fan of it.
You like that? You like my Jet Santa hat on? Great.
Now, how close did you come to actually pulling the trigger and going to this game yesterday? We sent you the tickets. You and Tommy Keenan were going to be there, but the weather was just brutal, and you said, I can't do it.
My girls said no. You know, my wife and my daughter said, you can't go. It's too cold. You know, you're not even 50-something anymore. I'm 71 now. You know, I heeded their call. So Tommy went. He took a friend of his. You know, I have not heard from Tommy since the end of the game. I'm sure he's frozen and disgusted, just like all of us are.
David writes in, froze myself yesterday at MetLife Stadium.
You, David.
It's unreal, Joe. The fans who still go to these games and are loyal, and you get that slop yesterday. A game where they start off with a 99-yard,
99-yard touchdown drive. You couldn't have looked better. And, you know, he throws that pass in the back of the end zone to Devontae, and then the stiff kicker misses the extra point. What a surprise. Unbelievable.
It's unreal. Speaking of the kicker, John in Florida with a super chat. Carlson has 83.3% field goal. Not great, but maybe you could live with that. 85.2% so far in his career on extra points. Makes him unemployable. I mean, it basically felt like Carlson has Greg Zuerlein syndrome. I mean, that's what happened. I mean, he was like Greg the Leg yesterday. If they had a real kicker, they have at least 2 or 3 more wins right now. That alone.
If the kicking if the kicking game was what it was last year and the defense was what it was last year, we'd be in the mix right now. We'd have 7 or 8 wins right now. Let's be honest about it. Easily.
1189 is anti bringing Rodgers back. He says Joe B is delusional, thinking a 41-year-old quarterback who's going to be 42 next season, can play at a high level. Rodgers doesn't throw the ball more than 7 yards.
Hold on. Didn't Tom Brady play at a high level at that age? Give me a freaking break. And then I want to hear from 1189 Parts or whatever the hell this guy is. Okay. Next year when Rodgers is lighting it up and he's not on the team and he's killing it with the Niners, make sure you come back and tell me, he's too old. All right. Ask this guy, who's our quarterback next year? 1189 Parts, Paris, or whatever the hell you are. Who's the quarterback next year, bro? Tell me who that is. Who is it? And is it going to be better than what Rodgers is giving you this year? Let me know.
Rodgers, by the way, I think he's like 500-something yards away from 4,000. So he's got a chance to break the passing yard record.
Away from 500 as well. And I hope he gets it. I hope he gets it with Devontae, but I actually would like to see him get it with Garrett Wilson. I would.
The one thing with Rodgers yesterday, though, I didn't like, Joe. It felt like there was too much of a conscious effort to just get it to Devontae and try and get him to catch touchdown pass number 500. Okay. Like, I understand Garrett's frustration with some of that. And look, I think the media, you're right, is trying to now make this narrative. Oh, Garrett wants out. When he has no leverage to ask out. So I do agree with you.
Look, there. The guy had 9 targets yesterday, caught 6 passes. You know, it's not like he didn't throw a ball to him.
But only 3 of them until the last drive. Like they didn't get him involved until they had to throw basically every play. He should have been involved more.
They also actually threw the ball to Brees a lot yesterday, finally out of the backfield, and they had some success with that as well, right? And we haven't seen enough of that this year, in my mind.
Completely agree. And that's why I think a real coach would be able to utilize the talent on this team, but also – and look, I like Rodgers like you, but he's got to be willing to run a real offensive scheme. I mean, they run an archaic offense. They never run the ball the right way, and that starts with the run game coordinator, who's also the awful O-line coach. Like, the idea this team can't be a team led by their running backs is a joke. I mean, they have the talent to be able to be a much better ground and pound style team, and they never run the ball effectively.
Well, that's all. Well, you know what, though, bro? It's all about coaching now. It's about the coach. You got to get – I'm telling you, you bring Vrabel in here and he brings his own coaching staff in here, you're going to see a dramatic change in his football team. I'm telling you right now.
Vincent says, would you give Mike McCarthy an interview if he's fired?
No, it's over for Mike McCarthy. Although I will say this for McCarthy.
He's done a nice job given the circumstances since Dak got hurt.
Considering that Dak Prescott has been gone all year and this team is 7-8 right now. They won again. They beat Tampa last night in a game Tampa really needed. I give him credit for that. You could do worse than McCarthy, but Vrabel to me is the guy.
Vrabel or Flores.
Let me ask you a question. What would Rodgers say about McCarthy coming here? I mean, they didn't exactly end well, you know?
I watched the Rodgers documentary on Netflix, and him and McCarthy are all good now. He's
okay.
He loves him. I don't want to bring in Mike McCarthy because of Rodgers. Like then you are the Green Bay Packers.
Vrabel's the guy. No, Vrabel's the guy. Vrabel's the guy.
Doug writes in, "Hey Joe, never joke about your mortality. Your sense of humor and laughter will keep you kicking for many, many, many more years to come. Merry Christmas."
Yeah, thank you, bro. Many more years of jet disaster. I eventually they're probably going to kill me at some point. I maybe that's going to happen. I tell you, as bad as it was yesterday, I was so pissed off after this game, bro. I mean, I didn't even talk for like 2 hours. I couldn't even watch football. I actually read for like an hour. Right?
Wow.
No, I did. No, I've been reading a lot of books lately. I've been all over it.
Aren't you reading a book about the presidents right now?
I'm done with that.
Oh.
I read the book. These are all Bill O'Reilly's books. I read the book Confronting the Presidents. I'm done with that. I read the book Killing Kennedy about JFK, which was a tremendous book about the Kennedy White House. I was 10 years old when he got killed. I remember it vividly. I've read that book, and now I'm almost done reading The Killing of Jesus. As we are in the holiday season, I'm almost done with that, and it is a tremendous book. I mean, it's all about Jesus Christ, not from a religious perspective, but from a historical perspective. Tremendous book. So I'm going to be done with 3 books like in a month. And I got to tell you, bro, I haven't read a book in 40 years, and I've been reading a lot. So, and I will continue.
So some reading for Joe B during the holiday season here.
Yes.
There you go.
And not about sports either. How about that?
Joe the Jet says, "Does Jordan Travis have any chance to be the future?"
I don't know.
We don't know what he is. He's a 5th-round pick that was taken now by a front office that's all gone. I have no idea what he is. At best, they say he probably would have been a 3rd-round pick if he were healthy.
Isn't he still hurt? Isn't he still hurt?
Right. He's had a couple of setbacks this year. He's supposed to be able to practice at some point this season, and he's not healthy yet. I think anything you get from Jordan Travis is a bonus. If he develops into a long-term backup, he's time for that now. But no one knows what he is.
a lot. You know what I like a lot? And this guy will probably be sitting there in the 2nd round. I like this quarterback from Syracuse, bro. This guy's not bad. Yeah, I do. He's not bad. Watch him a couple times this year. It looks like he's got a little something. You could probably get him in the 2nd round, maybe even the 3rd round. I mean, I'd take a flyer on a guy like that. I really would. I think McCord's got something. I really do.
Well, no matter what they do with Rodgers, they have to draft a quarterback. If not in round 1, then pretty early in round 2 or 3.
Yes. Yep. I'm with you.
Neil writes in, "Feast of the 7 fishes coming. Question, which player or what player on defense has played better than last year?" Not many. There's a couple, but not many, and that's a big problem.
Sherwood
and McDonald would be the 2 I would think of.
Yeah, okay. I'll say Sherwood. McDonald to me he's okay. I think he's a little overrated too, but I'll say Sherwood.
McDonald's got 10 sacks, and we thought, now with Reddick, we'll be able to open things up. And Reddick has been one of the biggest busts this franchise has ever made as far as a move goes. I mean, he has half a sack.
Yep. Reddick will be playing for the Birmingham Stallions next year.
He cost himself so much money.
Yeah.
I mean, he's looking at a 1-year deal for like $5 million somewhere next year when he had 1 year and $20 million on the table from the Jets. And he said that wasn't enough.
He stinks.
Fiore writes in, SNY's postgame was even pushing the Garrett narrative, essentially said Adams and Rodgers need to go so Wilson can be the top dog.
Oh, come on. I'm tired. I don't even listen to that nonsense either. I'm tired of those guys too. I like Bart Scott. I like Willie Colon. The other, I don't really know much about Connor Hughes. The other guy I'm not a big fan of. Tell them to go fry ice over there.
They're good people, man. Connor Rodgers is a good guy.
Yeah, okay, fine. Get rid of Rodgers and Adams. Sure, why not? Let them go together to San Francisco and win a Super Bowl. That's good.
New Jersey, the Super Trucker writes it. Jets should look at a Cooper Lagas from Tulsa. I don't know anything about the Tulsa quarterback.
Is he a quarterback? I really don't know anything about him. Nothing.
They need to add someone to that room, but I also here's the thing. I would prefer Rodgers back under the right situation. We've talked about that. But even if we disagree with the idea, Joe, I just want the GM and coach to be on the same page with what they're doing. Like, you can't have Woody Johnson saying you have to keep Rodgers no matter what, or you got to get rid of him no matter what. Like, this organization
right now,
needs to be aligned.
Mike Vrabel wants this job because he knows he can win with them next year, and he's going to keep Rodgers as the quarterback. To me, I think there's no question about it. Mike Vrabel's not coming here to rebuild next year. I can tell you right now. He's not. That's why he wants the job.
Comments, questions, super chats for Joe. We'll answer anything before we say goodbye. Jets, of course, lose in devastating fashion. Jeff Ulbrich looks completely in over his head as this team's interim head coach. I mean, he honestly makes Robert Saleh look like Vince Lombardi, and Saleh wasn't a great coach, but it is so clear how heavily involved Saleh was in the defense compared to what this defense now looks like with Ulbrich. It's wild to me how Woody, who should know this because he's there every day, should have known the type of negative impact it would do to rip the rug away from the team 5 games in with this decision.
He should have. And once he did that, he should have made one of the lower, like Ron Middleton, I've said this before, somebody like that, the head coach, and just left Ulbrich running the defense. That's what he should have done.
100%. 100%. 2 games left, Joe. Buffalo and then home Miami. If they're going to win either one of the games, it feels like the Miami game in the cold the Dolphins are playing for nothing is probably the game they'd have the best chance
but
in,
it's
right?
still alive. I guess Miami's still alive. They beat the Niners yesterday. So I don't know.
Edwards says,
I guess so. I mean, look, Buffalo had a hard time with New England yesterday. I mean, New England jumped out to a 14-0 lead in that game. They played them pretty tough. Drake May looked pretty good yesterday, I have to say.
Only team to lose with no puns. Holy flying poop emoji. I mean, Joe, they're the second team since 1940 to score less than 10 points but not punt in a game. Like you can't. Like this team's historic with how they lose.
Yeah, historic. This has been the worst. I can't remember a worse year because they, like we said, they got talent on his team and they've been in every game. And like I said, the kicking game, the defense, the coaching has all conspired for 4-11.
Did you? I know you said you were reading right after the game. So did you? Did anyone show you or point out the fact that yesterday in Seattle you had Sam Darnold, Geno Smith?
I don't. Did I need somebody to point that out to me?
With Mark Sanchez calling the game, by the way.
Right, that's right. I did see that. No, I did not need that to be pointed out to me. I did not at all. I try not to think about it. And Darnold won again. They're 13-2. 13-2. You think Minnesota's letting this guy go?
No chance.
No shot.
They're going to extend him, or at the bare minimum, they'll put the franchise tag on him until they figure it out. Why would they get rid of? Honestly, at best case scenario, J.J. McCarthy turns out to be as good as what Sam Darnold's been.
Let's be honest. Everybody's talking about Josh Allen, Barkley. Yeah, you could make a case for Sam Darnold being the MVP. Right or wrong?
100%. Who would be your MVP right now? Allen, Lamar, Barkley?
Definitely Allen. Allen's the most dynamic player in the league, in my mind. He's better than Lamar. To me, it's, Lamar's good. I mean, he's a great player. Lamar, well, look, I mean, both of them, him and Allen got to win. I mean, neither of them even have been to a Super Bowl. So both of them got to win, But look, let's be honest. Neither of them is Patrick Mahomes. I mean, you say whatever you want. They're 13-1 this team, the freaking Chiefs. 13-1. They won again yesterday. The other day, they beat Houston the other day.
Mm-hmm.
I would not bet against the Kansas City Chiefs becoming the first team ever to win 3 consecutive Super Bowls. I would not bet against that. I would not.
I mean, they just always find a way to win. They're the opposite of the Jets.
You know what, bro? Here's the thing. They got all these guys. They still got Kelsey there. He's not the same player. His head's too far up his girlfriend's rear end. He's not the same player anymore. But they got all these guys, that guy Worthy, they got Pacheco, they got the DeAndre Hopkins now. They got all these different guys that can catch passes, and they have the most underrated defense in football. They got the best defensive coordinator in the game in Steve Spagnuolo. They got a Hall of Famer in Chris Jones. We go right on down the line. They got McDuffie in the secondary. There's another guy better than Sauce Gardner. They got him in the secondary. He's terrific. They got all, Karlaftis is a tremendous pass rusher. I'm telling you right now, do not bet against Kansas City winning it again. They're going to get home field throughout the playoffs again. And don't be right now, I'm saying it's going to be the Lions and the Chiefs will win their 3rd in a row.
The Lions' defensive injuries, that doesn't concern you a little bit? That'd be the only knock on them.
Their offense is just so freaking good. I know Montgomery's out too, which is a big hit, but they're so loaded. They really are. I mean, look, you can't discount Minnesota in the NFC. You certainly can't discount the Eagles. He lost a tough game to Washington yesterday. Boy, what a year they've had there in Washington. Unbelievable. What they have 5 turnovers. The Redskins yesterday. Oh, what? The Redskins? The Commanders yesterday had 5 turnovers and won the game. Think about that.
They're the best example of if you get the coach right with the quarterback, it could turn very quickly. They were picking second overall last year. That's why I don't subscribe to this. Oh, the Jets can never win with Woody. They're never going to be good. Nah, it's just get the right coach in here with the right quarterback. And at the bare minimum, you're competitive every year. Sean McVay and Matthew Stafford are going to be in the mix every year because of the two of them alone.
Yep.
This one is from That's No Ghost. Lazard has 9 drops on 54 targets this year. I mean,
is that all?
It's unbelievable how many drops. They lead the NFL. Here were the 2 stats from yesterday that stood out. They lead the NFL in drops, and they lead the NFL in defensive penalties. I mean, it's just everyone wants to blame Aaron Rodgers for why this team has 4 wins.
Yeah, they can't wait to run him out of town. Let's be honest about it. Can't wait.
Rock and Rant writes in, how could you keep on loving Rodgers when he's ignoring Garrett and playing backyard ball?
I don't want to hear that. I'm so tired of that. That's the media saying that crap. He caught 6 passes for over 50 yards yesterday. He had 9 targets. He's not being ignored. That's the media's narrative because they want to get rid of Rodgers. They want this team to stink for perpetuity, okay? He's on his way to another 1,000-yard receiving year. He's caught 6 touchdown passes this year. He's going to catch close to 100 passes, but Rodgers isn't throwing him the ball. I don't want to hear that crap no more, okay? Stop it. And let's be honest, Davante Adams is better. Is it not? Am I wrong? Davante Adams is better than Wilson. Let's tell it like it is, okay?
Wilson, 4th most targeted receiver in the NFL this year. Well, I think a couple things could be true here, right? I think yesterday Aaron didn't go to Garrett Wilson enough. Like the total amount of targets, it's misleading because most of them happen on that last drive. That said, the idea that Garrett Wilson hasn't gotten the ball enough this year, that's media-driven. He's had opportunities to have the ball in his hands a lot. He's been There was a game this year he got targeted 22 times. I was at it in London.
Yeah. So it's bullshit. I mean, again, it's a narrative coming from the media to try to destroy this team. You know, get Rodgers out, get Adams out, get Wilson out, and let's just suck for the rest of history. That's it.
Few minutes left with Joe B here. Snowball wants to know, did you hear the sell the team chants yesterday?
The problem is he's not selling. So, you know, we could waste our time all day with that. He's not selling the team. He's got to get it right. He's got to bring Vrabel in here. To me, it's an absolute no-brainer. And let Vrabel pick the GM. Why the hell not?
That's the advantage the Jets have, right? All these other teams, a lot of them don't have a GM opening. Well, Mike Vrabel says he'd take a job if he's comfortable with the GM. So go to him and find out some guys that he'd love to work with.
Who do you want?
That's it. And like, here's the thing, too. I don't want to make Mike Vrabel out to be like Vince Lombardi, but he's so much better than anything this team has had, and he raises the floor on what they could be. It's like, get a real coach and then go from there, because you have no chance, as we've seen, despite the talent on this team, when your coaching is as bad as the Jet coaching staff is.
No question about it. No doubt.
Last chance to get in here. College question super chats for Joe. Baseball news, Joe. I'm sure you saw it this morning. Sean Manaea is back with your bets.
Oh, did he? Oh, I didn't see that.
There you go.
Oh, now we got to get Pete signed. Can we stop the nonsense now and sign freaking Pete Alonso? Okay? All these other first basemen are gone. Let's go, Stevie. Okay, I don't want to hear about Stearns. This is on Stevie. Uncle Stevie, we love that you signed Soto. I love that you brought Manaea back now. I didn't even know about that. Time to bring freaking Alonso here, okay? Immediately.
3 years, $75 million for Sean Manaea.
Well, I mean, it's a no-brainer. I mean, look what the rest of the staff is. Frankie Montas, Channing Fanning, whoever with a 20 ERA. I mean, come on. Clay Holmes, who's not even a starter. Give me a break. Thank God they signed Manaea. Now, sign Alonso.
Fiore with a super chat. If reporters were being honest, they'd focus on the coaching issues more than creating drama.
That's all they want is drama. That's all they want. You know, this girl that wrote these articles, what's she with The Athletic? Okay, I don't even know her, whatever. Yep. You know, she wrote that article last year about Wilson, right? Wilson doesn't want to play. She wrote the article after Game 4 this year, or whenever it was, that Woody wanted to bench Rodgers after the Bronco game. She wrote the article now. What was the other article now that she wrote this week about Wilson, and Wilson wants to be traded, you know, and all that crap, you know, that Woody's son wanted nix the deal for Jerry Jeudy, going to from Denver to Cleveland because his son didn't think he had a good number or whatever it was on Madden. Let's be honest. Devontae Adams is better than Jerry Jeudy, okay? So can we stop now? All right? Stop.
Well, you know what the issue, too, with this story? It's like, oh, well, they used Woody used the Madden rating, and that's why the deal was nixed. But then in the same paragraph of the article, it mentions Woody also referenced John Simpson's Madden rating, but they signed John Simpson. So which is it? It's only conveniently brought up when something doesn't go your way, Joe Douglas, but when you still get the side, it doesn't make any sense.
The media wants them to be bad forever.
Where's the Giant article, by the way? They're the biggest joke right now in the NFL.
Well, the Giants are terrible, but the Giants are – look, I don't think Shane and Abel are making it. I really don't. Shane and Dable. They're going to get Shadir Sanders. I mean, the Raiders won yesterday, so the Giants it's clear now for them to be the number one, get the first pick in the draft. They're going to get it easily.
There they are. Yeah. We need New England to win a game here down the stretch. I don't want them getting Travis Hunter.
Yeah, well, that's true. That's a good point. You're right about that. You're right. Let him go to Jacksonville.
This one is from Doug, who writes, Joe, I don't know how much you believe in conspiracies, but Mahomes going for a three-peat with Brady calling the Super Bowl is what Goodell is salivating for.
Yeah, I wouldn't doubt that. Goodell, how much I can't stand that guy. Oh, my God. Oh. Yeah. No, I'm sure. I'm sure that's what he wants. I'm sure.
Well, that's the thing with the Chiefs, right? I mean, you don't just play the Chiefs; you play the officials, but you play the Chiefs as well.
Well, we know that. That goes without saying.
It's unreal. KJH for the super chat.
By the way, there was a play yesterday, a fourth down play where Rodgers threw the ball over the middle. I think it was to Rucker, who got assaulted for a pass interference and they didn't throw the flag. By the way, and let me say this too: if it was the other way around, they would have thrown the flag. No
100%.
doubt.
All right, super chat here from KJH. He says two things. First, yesterday, all Rodgers cared about was getting Adams to catch 500. Second, trade for J.J. McCarthy if they re-sign Sam, which they should. I actually don't hate the idea
that wouldn't be bad.
Of bringing in McCarthy to sit.
Yeah, but he's got to sit a year behind Rodgers. He's not playing right away.
Oh, he's coming off the injury, too. Yeah, that's actually not a bad idea. It's a creative way to get a young quarterback that you don't have to rush into action.
That's not a bad idea.
Did you like McCarthy at college?
I mean, he won his national championship there. I mean, so you got to give him that. He did have Harbaugh as his coach. Why not? I'll take a shot at him. If they did that, I'm good with that. I'd be good with that.
That's it. It's not a bad idea. It's a creative way to do it.
Yep.
All right, Joe. Well, another brutal loss, but we appreciate you coming on, airing the grievances that you have here on Festivus. So that's
Festivus. That's right. I got a lot of grievances. Okay? I am happy that you told me my baseball team signed Sean Manaea.
There you go.
Now we got to sign Alonso. Now we got to get Pete in the fold, like ASAP.
What does the Joe B Christmas look like?
What does it look like? I mean, tomorrow we're going to my son for New Christmas Eve. Wednesday we're going. Christmas Day we're going by my daughter. So I mean, I basically got my Christmas shopping done. I got a couple things I need to do yet. That's why I wanted to do a little early today, bro.
I love it. I mean, so you think about it like this: you got Knicks basketball on Christmas Day, and you also have 2 football games for the first time ever.
Wake me up when the Knicks are in the playoffs, okay? The eternal NBA this season. It's all the Knicks. It's all. There's only one thing left for the Knicks, okay? It's been 51 years since they won a championship. They got to win.
Yep.
I don't want to hear about the conference finals. I don't want to hear about the NBA finals. I want a championship. Okay. It's been 51 freaking years. Wake me up when they win. All right.
Joe, Merry Christmas. Happy holidays. All the love.
All of it, bro. Merry Christmas. Happy Hanukkah to everybody. By the way, thanks for the umbrellas as well, bro.
The Gustbuster umbrella,
Joe.
Joe.
My God. I didn't know your father owned the freaking company. Wow.
I told you. I heard you and our good friend Evan Roberts talking about umbrellas, and I'm like, we got to send Joe some Gustbusters. So my dad took care of it for you.
Well, tell Mr. Asman we appreciate it. Tell him all the love to him.
You got it, Joe. Hey, thanks so much for coming on, Joe. Thanks to Terry for setting this up, and I'll talk to you soon. All right.
All right, bro. God bless.
God bless. All the love. The great Joe Benigno in his weekly spot on the show. Comments, questions, super chats. Cut the line. I'm posting the Gustbuster, speaking of the devil, hotline link if you want in on the conversation. We are presented today by Huga House. Get yourself a hat for the holiday season. 15% off with promo code Asman at checkout. And if you buy one hat, you get the second hat from Huga House. 30% off. If you watch the Rodgers documentary on Netflix, basically every time he's interviewed in that, he's wearing a Huga House hat. You can wear one as well. HUEGAhouse.com. Promo code Asman at checkout to get the hat that you see Ohtani wearing, the hat that you see Kevin from The Office wearing, Josh Allen, Shane Gillis, Tyler Conklin, Aaron Rodgers, and many other Jet players. HugaHouse.com. Promo code Asman at checkout for 15% off. Comments, questions, super chats. We'll take your calls coming up on the Gusbuster hotline. Big announcement for Patreon users. Every item in the merch store is now 20% off when you use the code I posted in the Discord for all Patreon users. So thank you for being loyal and sticking with us all season long. Patreon.com/Jake Asman Show. I know it still says 15% off on these graphics, but we're going to update it. It's now 20% off all items in the merch store if you are a Patreon user. So if you're thinking about buying any merch, join the Patreon first and you'll save a ton of money before you do so. JakeAsman.com/shop to get yourself some Jake Asman merch. All right, Gusbuster hotline link. Posting it in the chat. Today's the last show, I should say, to get into the raffle here. We're giving away an assortment of items today. The Joe Namath 1970 Topps card and the Curtis Martin autographed trading card will be given away later today. I have the Namath one right here. The Martin one is on the way. This is from 1970 right here. The Namath Topps card here. Pretty cool. Also, $50 gift card to Copper John's Beard Company, an item from the merch store, and a Gusbuster umbrella. So mega raffle this afternoon. Today's the last chance you have to get into the raffle by gifting a membership. You gift a membership, you get the subsequent amount of raffle tickets associated with how many memberships you gift. Hit the like button if you're tuning in. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel. Bang, I see this super chat here. Arthur Smith, ha, ha, ha. I'll tell you right now, if the Jets hire Arthur Smith, I will be furious. I think it's a bad decision. Please, for the love of God, Woody, do not hire Arthur Smith. There's a guy who has said he'll take the job. That's the guy you hire.
I talked to Mike Vrabel. Mike said, he said, I would take the Jets job. I just don't know who the GM would be. I'd have to like the GM.
What are we doing? I'm not making Mike Vrabel out to be the greatest coach ever, but he's proven to be a solid coach. That is what this team needs, and that is the guy I believe the New York Jets should get. Comments, questions, super chats. Cut the line, post in the Gusbuster hotline link again, and let's start it off with Steady Eddie, who's first up today. What's up, Edward?
Hey, good morning, Jake.
How are you, Edward?
I'm good. I had a rant last night and a rant this morning on Boy Green, and I'll let your listeners hear it. Probably most of the guys that watch you watch Boy Green too anyway, but no punts. You kidding? 4th and 1, and you don't go with agent zero and a tight end in the backfield as a blocker? Are you kidding? Are they trying to tank? It just seems that way. Just wow. Did you watch the game? I mean, I'm in North Carolina, but it was on network TV, so I was able to watch it at home and relax. And I was just like, all right, 99 yards, first drive. Okay, that looked good. And then this just went, boom, just crazy.
I mean, it's astonishing the way it played out because they haven't scored on an opening drive all year, a touchdown. And for them to have a 99-yard drive where Rodgers, to his credit, was surgical. Like, he looked awesome on that drive. And then for them to finish
Draw us in.
It's
so
unreal.
You can stab the knife in our hearts right in the fourth quarter.
It's unreal.
Another fourth quarter loss. We should have 10 wins with this team.
I mean, I'll say this. I think with a real coach, I don't think it's out of the question. The Jets are 9-6 right now, battling for a playoff spot down. I think you know, a real coach would have this team with 5 more wins right now. I really don't think that's crazy. I mean, when you look at the fact they've had the lead in the fourth quarter 6 times and lost this year, they lead the NFL in blown fourth quarter leads. Like, with a real coach, I believe they go out there and they win yesterday. They win the Miami game from a few weeks ago. They win the Colts game. They win that second Patriots game. Like, it's not, and like, these are conservative like breakdowns here. Like,
Joe Benigno was talking about that pass interference that wasn't called on our tight end, the kid from Lindenhurst.
Jeremy Ruckert.
Right. And not the series before. they threw that flag on us for the same play where the cornerback put his hands on the shoulder of the receiver to use leverage to get up to block the ball. That guy, he did the same thing to Ruckert, put his hands on the shoulder for leverage to jump up to block the ball, and that's no flag. And then the commentators had to cover it up by going, oh, well, the timing was slightly different. No. They don't call the games even. I mean, like you were saying, you know, the referees during the Chief games may as well have red stripes on their jerseys, like some of these AI things. I've seen some of those AI things where they show what the referee saying, that is illegal contact on Pat Mahomes for not allowing him to throw a touchdown pass, you know, and just all sorts of goofy shit that they say on AI and stuff. It's funny, but yeah. But I still think.
Did you ever see Led Zeppelin in concert, Edward?
No. A friend of mine back when I was in high school had tickets, but that was the tour where unfortunately John Bonham OD'd on alcohol and died. So he had the tickets. I hadn't even yet bought them from him. He got back in the day. You used to go to the venue and you get a wristband. And then you could go with that wristband, and then you could go get tickets. And that's how the scalpers got all the tickets. Them and about all of their friends would go down there, and they'd get the wristbands so they could get like you could get like 8 tickets for every wristband. And that's how they would do it back in the day. I don't know how they're doing it now. But, yeah, I would have loved to see them. They are going to do a tour, though. They announced a tour date for 2025. They're definitely going to New York, London, Sydney, and a couple other things. If I want to go see them, I'm probably going to have to go to New York and spend $1,000 a ticket. But there's a couple of bands that I think I would want to see, and I think Zeppelin would be one of them. I did get to see Robert Plant and Alison Krauss, and they did play Battle of Evermore and When the Levee Breaks and stuff like that. It was really cool.
I love that for you, Edward. I do.
Yeah, I mean, I've got to see a lot of the bands from the day. There's a couple I haven't seen. I didn't see AC/DC, the Stones, or Van Halen, but I've seen pretty much everybody else. So it is what it is. But back to football. I don't know who I want as head coach. I think I'd rather lean towards.
You kind of look like a head coach right now.
I look like a head case, not
maybe
a head coach.
Maybe a defensive coordinator. I can see you like you kind of got like the Rob Ryan looking hair right now.
My hair's too dark. Ryan's a blonde. I would, if I could have a dream scenario and people would agree to it, I'd probably have Vrabel as head coach. Gruden as offensive coordinator and Rex Ryan as defensive coordinator. I mean, the reason I would want Vrabel as the head coach is because he's that CEO, no nonsense kind of guy. But I would want Gruden, who has proven to be able to train quarterbacks. And we all know what Rex could you imagine what Rex would do with this defense? They were saying that we were like the number 5 defense in the league. And I'm going, if we're number 5, man, I'd hate to see. No, Rex would have if we're number 5 the way they are now, we'd be number 1 with Rex, because he would mix in some blitz packages and have the guys do more man coverage. And I think Sauce is better in man than he is in zone. I think all of our guys are better in man than they are in zone. We got some talented guys in our DB, you know? We really do.
Let me ask you this, Edward. I'm going to give you a play, and you recite it back to me. Let's see if you got the chops to be a coach. You ready?
Yeah.
All right, here we go. Rugger 800 C Stealth A Jet.
I don't know a playbook. I played running back when I was in high school.
No, just recite the play back.
What'd you say?
Here we go. Ready? Yeah. Rugger 800 C Stealth A Jet.
I don't know. If it's me saying something ridiculous, I don't know. I don't play those games, man. I'm just a fan of your show and a Boy Green show, and I'm a Jet fan. I'm 64 years old, and
that's just the name of the play here.
Yeah, I know. I just want to see
formation. 800's the protection. It tells you as the quarterback which side you're rolling to. C stealth is the play. It's going to be a veer pass from double.
Oh,
gun,
you wanted me to break the? I don't know. All I knew was a 44 blast or a 32 dive or something like that. You know. Well, the only really football terms I knew as a running back is a blast is when you have a lead blocker, and a dive is when you hit the hole yourself.
I just wanted to hear you recite the play. Basically, I wanted to hear a little rugger 800 C stealth A jet on one ready break.
Nah, not my deal. Get V-Man to say that, but he's probably already drunk on Coquito by now. It's that season. Yeah, where is V-Man? Is he waiting in the green room?
No, V-Man had to work the overnight shift.
So he's sleeping off the Coquito.
That's right. All right, Edward. Well, we accomplished a lot during this call. I appreciate you calling in.
Happy Hanukkah. As a member of the tribe, I wish you happy Hanukkah because it starts on December. Actually, it starts Christmas night, Hanukkah this year.
I wasn't aware.
First
when does
night
Kwanzaa
of Hanukkah
start?
is Christmas night.
We got Christmas, Hanukkah, and I believe Kwanzaa all within like a day or so of each other this year.
Yeah, I know. It's kind of cool. I'm not that sure about that. I mean, you know, I just know when Hanukkah starts, and I know when Christmas starts because everybody knows when Christmas starts.
What about Festivus?
Festivus sounds like some kind of sexually transmitted disease to me. I don't know.
Edward, thank you very much. Festivus is definitely not that. It's the airing of grievances, which is a perfect day to have Joe B on the show. For those who missed it, Joe came up for the first 50 minutes or so. I just wanted to hear Edward give out some play calls, man. Unbalanced spread gun, right F to Y trade, 36 zone trap, lion push delay, read 0. Yeah, I just wanted him to tap in, man. He looked like a play caller. I guess not. Joe says, I have a bad feeling Vrabel's going to Las Vegas. He might. I mean, Tom Brady's one of the owners there. But here's the thing. If you're the Jets, the advantage you have is that your roster's better. Vegas is no longer in position, at least right now, to get one of the top 2 quarterbacks. We'll see if that changes. And if you're the Jets, you can money whip Mike Vrabel. The Raiders are cash poor. At least that's their reputation. They're going to fire Antonio Pierce in year 1 of what was probably a 4 or 5 year contract after they made him the interim head coach. And a great point by Horton. Why would anyone voluntarily go to the AFC West? You want to deal with Mahomes? You want to deal with the Chargers and Harbaugh with Herbert now? Sean Payton and the Broncos? He might want to go to Vegas. He might not. All I know is I'm not settling for, he's going to go to the Raiders. F that, man. Go to the Jets. John says, can we sign Darnold? Why do you think Darnold would ever come back here? And also, why do you think Minnesota would ever let him leave? I actually like the idea of trading for J.J. McCarthy if I could get him. I'd trade a second-round pick for McCarthy and have him sit behind Rodgers or whoever the quarterback is next year. I don't hate that idea. It gives him plenty of time to get healthy, recover from the injury, not be forced to play him. I actually really like that idea. If J.J. McCarthy was coming out now, would he not be maybe the first or second quarterback off the board? I mean, come on now. Chop Mop Tactical. Nobody should be surprised at the Jet performance. This team has no coaching staff whatsoever. It's a joke. They're one of the worst coach teams I've ever watched. Asoff. Garrett Wilson's gone once his contract's up. Well, his contract's not up for 2 more years, so I'll worry about it then. Look, Garrett Wilson, I believe, is really frustrated and pissed off. I also believe if you hire the right GM and coach and they talk with Garrett, he'll buy back in, especially if you offer him a contract extension, of which he's eligible for the first time in his career. So that'd be one of the first moves I'd make as Jets GM. I'd extend Garrett Wilson. Bang Mateo. Jesus, Minnesota's not trading JJ. How do you know that, Bang? How do you know they wouldn't consider trading him? I'm not saying they are or aren't, but like, how do you know they're not trading JJ McCarthy? Sam Darnold is 27 years old, who's led them to a 13-win season. There's no path for JJ McCarthy to play next year. Darnold's not going anywhere. He found a home in Minnesota. He's not leaving. More of your calls right now. The Hamburger is up next. What's up, Hamburger?
What's up, Jake? I was trying not to sneeze. It went away. I was about to sneeze as soon as you came on. Listen, JJ McCarthy would be awesome. I mean, you're right about that. I don't see why they wouldn't move on from him. Darnold's going to be around for a while. I said a few weeks ago I'd love for Darnold to come to the Jets, but as you can say, it's not happening now. They're definitely going to sign him long term. They got it. If they let him go, that'd be the stupidest thing I've ever seen. But JJ McCarthy would be a good fit. I'd like them to sit behind Rodgers or, like you said, whoever else would be behind him. 100%. We need Vrabel, man. Vrabel's got to be the guy. I mean, he's got to be the guy. Woody's got to throw the bag at him. He's the guy that I want here. He's the guy, and I'm all for getting him before the GM. He's the one candidate I'd like to get no matter what, even before a GM. Let him pick it. I think you're 100% right on that. I think Joe's right on that too. But yeah, man, it's what do you expect? We have a bad coaching staff. We lost yesterday. It is what it is. Aaron played okay. We just got to move on from this week. We got winning cures everything with Garrett Wilson. Next year he comes. We have a good coach. We start winning. He'll be here. You can't look at it too much now and get all bent out of shape and listen to what everybody's writing. It doesn't make sense. Just they're gonna write shit for people to listen and talk and talk BS online and write tweets and shit. It is what it is. We suck right now. Garrett will be fine. It's just noise in the background. Be all right. I have faith.
It's very frustrating. I understand Garrett's pissed. He's open on that 4th and 4 where Rodgers is just throwing it up to Devontae. And that's not cool. But at the same time, I don't think just because he's pissed, it means that he's gone in the like. I think cooler heads prevail when we get to the offseason. A new regime comes in and they set the direction of the franchise.
There is one thing. I think Aaron and Devontae are one touchdown shy of catching Rice. Rice and what's his name? From 49ers.
Montana.
So I think it's 82 and they tie it for, I think, 3rd or 4th all time. So one more and they tie it, and then one more and they beat it. So I kind of see why he's throwing to Devontae, but that's really not the way to play the game. You know, we got to win.
No, it's definitely not, and it's frustrating. And look, I like Rodgers, but I'm not as like gung ho like Joe is. Like, they definitely got to bring him back. Like, you're not just weighing like Rodgers giving you the best chance to win. It's everything that comes with Rodgers, right? Like, it still becomes his team. Is he going to be willing to run a modern offense? Like, does a new coach want to establish a culture of like it being the Jets and not just Rodgers' team? Like, there's a lot of factors at play here. Like, I still think there's a path with the right coach. It makes sense to keep Aaron and then have someone sitting and learning behind him. But I'm also not going to sit here and be like, Rodgers definitely needs to be back at all costs, because it's not like he's played well enough where you need to keep him because there's no one else that could put up comparable numbers. Because with better coaching, I still think you could win with maybe a lesser quarterback from a stat perspective. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I would agree with that. And I think I've steadfast on that too. Like, I said this weekend, if they won and Aaron played like last week, I'd stand on the rooftop and scream and that I want him back. But I'm still on the fence about him. I could take him or leave him. I think it'll be beneficial if we keep him, as long as he takes a pay cut. But we can win with somebody else, man. We can win with a lesser quarterback, especially if we have the right coaching staff. So I don't think it's imperative that we bring him back. But listen, I can go either way with it. I'm not going to stand up and get pissed off about it if we get rid of him or if we keep him. So as of right now, this week, 2 weeks left in the season, it is what it is.
Let's see how he looks against Buffalo, right? This will be a real test. If he plays great in a win, I think you got to keep him at that point, but we'll see.
I would agree with that 100%. And Sean Mania back with the Mets, big deal. Great.
How about breaking the news to Joe B, man? I usually break Salah being fired or a Devontae trade. I got to break some Mets news to him.
Yeah, I'm surprised he didn't see it. I saw it when I woke up this morning. But for those in the chat, Pete Alonso is going to be a Met. He's not going anywhere else.
Well,
There's
where else could he really go at this point? Especially yesterday with what's his name being traded. Yeah, but Nathaniel Lowe, he got traded to the Nationals. So like that's another team that needed the first baseman that would make sense for Alonso that now doesn't need a first baseman.
And Jock Peterson just got signed to Texas. So that's another bat that Texas took that's going to really take them out of Pete. So I think it's just a point of getting the right amount of money in years for Pete at this point. I think he knows he's coming back. They all know he's coming back. He's just trying to get what he can for the last minute. But Pete's going to be on the Mets. It's written in stone. He's coming back. He ain't going nowhere. So you going to be on tomorrow?
Well, I'm on. Yeah, I definitely will be on tomorrow. I'm doing radio 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. And then I'm going to go out there and I'm probably going to have, actually, I will have Sabo. I think we're doing 11 a.m. tomorrow. So we'll do at least one show tomorrow. Christmas, I'm on 8 a.m. to 11:30 on the radio. Then I'm going to the Knicks game. So if we do a show, it'll be in the late afternoon, but it's also Christmas. So I don't know how many people will be watching then. So we'll see about Christmas, but I plan to still have at least one YouTube show per day. It just might vary between the morning or the afternoon, depending on my radio schedule.
All right, sounds cool. Cool. I'm gonna print up my little thing. I'll read my the night before Jetsmas tomorrow.
I love it. I still have a poem to read from Boomtown that I'm very excited about as well.
There you go.
That's right.
There you go. I'll have to put on my Santa garb.
Tremendous. Hamburger, all the love, man.
Guys, enjoy. Thank you. Appreciate it, Jake.
The great Hamburger who was warmed up after freezing at Jet Life yesterday. Bang Mateo in the house. Rookie quarterbacks with promise are not traded. Who was the last rookie quarterback with promise traded? Minnesota has his rights for 4 to 5 years. Minnesota not doing us favors. Bang. When was the last time we had this situation play out with what Sam Darnold's doing? I'm not telling you that they're going to trade J.J. McCarthy. I'm telling you that I don't think it's crazy for the Jets to inquire. That's a pretty good idea to bring in a quarterback with talent that wouldn't have to play right away if you're going to run it back with Rodgers or a different bridge quarterback. Because McCarthy's coming off injury, so let him get fully healthy, learn a new offense, and be ready. Rookie quarterbacks with promise or not traded. How do you know what McCarthy is right now, by the way? He hasn't played. He hasn't played. You've never had a rookie that was taken that high get hurt like he did. So this is a very unique situation. That's my point. You can't compare this to anything. What are you comparing this to? Someone in the chat wrote Trey Lance, but Trey Lance played a little bit. J.J. McCarthy has never played in the game. You're writes in, Jake just be talking. I'll tell you what, I be talking, you be going to stupid town.
Spowers, boy. San Francisco University, tight end. Next year, I hope to be a wide receiver.
You know, this is a talk show, so yes, you are correct. I do be talking. John writes in, Hamburger, Lane, Gary, and JJ are 1 seeds. Neil provides content too. Wow. Hamburger, Lane, Gary, JJ as 1 seeds, huh? I like the take. Everyone's going to have different opinions on the bracket. I can't wait. PBM, 5 incompletions to Devontae. G5 was open, 2 for touchdowns. Film review today at 4. I specifically asked Fialco to get film and look at Garrett Wilson and see if he was open on plays that didn't go to him. So we'll see. Jimbo with a $20 super chat. Jimbo, that's 5 more raffle tickets in your name, baby. Boom. Yeah. I hope Andrew shows the 4th and 4 incompletion to DA. I already requested that one. We will. G5 open on a crosser. Could have made one dude miss. 8 only looking for 17. Jake, 12 and 19. Had $20 super chat. Wondering if I'm in the raffle. Regardless, here's another. You are in the raffle, Jimbo. I got you down. Every $20 super chat is the equivalent of 5 raffle tickets. C with a super chat. I don't understand the panic with Garrett Wilson at the moment. We have him for 2 years under contract. He's frustrated. He's human. Maybe his non-committal responses is his agent anticipating extension talks this offseason. I think Garrett's emotional. He cares. I think what we're seeing here is a guy who's sick of losing. And I think, well, he might request a trade. He might not. I'm also not going to sit here and be panicked at this point. Hire a real coach. Get the GM in place with said coach. And that guy, when evaluating the roster, is going to realize we're a better team with Garrett Wilson, not without him. And we should pay him. Craig says, is retirement or for New York Jets for Rodgers at this point? Is it retirement or Jets for Rodgers? I mean, I don't know. I think he's not guaranteed to start anywhere else if not the Jets next year. I mean, I know Benigno's talking about him going to the Niners, but I don't know if the Niners are going to get rid of Brock Purdy off one down year for them. You know, I think we know Purdy's good. He's not great. He's certainly elevated by an elite cast of characters around him. But you think they're really going to move on from Brock Purdy for a year of 42-year-old Aaron Rodgers next year? I don't know. That doesn't sound realistic. Adam is too cool. I think we'll be surprisingly good when we have no hype. Pick the most boring GM head coach quarterback combo. What would that be in your mind? John Robinson, Arthur Smith, Tyrod Taylor. We would be the most boring team in the NFL next year. That to me is the answer to that question. Let's get some more of your calls right now. The great Ricky NY is on the line. Hello, Ricky.
Hey, what's happening, Jake? It must be Christmas time because Jeff Ulbrich gift wrapped a game for the Rams on Sunday. That was absolutely pitiful. The turnovers deep in our own territory, not once but twice. We just gave that game away, and it was awful. I don't blame Garrett for being frustrated, and I don't have as big a problem with Aaron forcing the ball to Devontae. What I have a problem with is the way that he just kept targeting Lazard when the guy dropped everything that was thrown at him yesterday. Those targets should have went someplace else. I mean, at this point, I guess it doesn't even really matter anymore. It was just a pathetic game. Bad coaching at its absolute worst. Yeah, I don't even know what else to say about it.
Let me tell you.
I don't even know what else to say.
I've seen some bad coach teams, Ricky. This is probably the worst coach Jets team ever. Like, I think Adam Gase wins more than 4 games with this roster right now. I don't even think it's a debate.
Yeah, sadly, I don't even think it's close.
I mean, Gase won 7 his first year and with way less talent. So I think they definitely win more than 4 with Gase. That's how bad Ulbricht's been.
Yeah, at this point, the only thing I think I have to look forward to is the fact that this regime is almost gone. Like the sooner the better. It can't happen fast enough for me. And before I get off, I wanted to ask you, maybe you can confirm this for me. I heard this rumor floating around that Travis Hunter from Colorado actually watches the Jake Asman show. And when he heard about Knoebel, he decided to be a two-way player too.
Yeah.
So that legends like Bobby Midnight would be calling sports radio about him. Can you confirm that for me?
You know what, Ricky? I can't confirm or deny it. I can tell you this. I do think Lane Kerner is in the chat, so maybe the Lane train can answer your question.
Right on. That's a good idea. I'll go right to the source. All right, man. Have a good day.
You too, Ricky. Love the gear as always, man. Great Ricky NY. Thomas says outside of money, he doesn't need to come back. Are you talking about Garrett or are you talking about Aaron Rodgers, Thomas? Jesus Jerry says A-Rod needs 497 yards and 9 touchdowns for Jet records. He's not going to get the touchdown record. I think he could get the 4,000 yards, though. I think he could throw for 250 on average over the next 2 weeks. Open phone lines if anyone wants in on the conversation. Man, you know it's depressing when there's no one on hold on a Monday show after a game. That's when you know apathy is starting to set in for this fan base. Let's shout out our 2 post-game sponsors, Joe DeVizio Realty, sellwithjoe.com, 959 call Joe. If you're trying to sell your home, any questions about your home, Joe and his team are the best at what they do, and custombourbontours.com. Book a vacation down in Kentucky on the Kentucky Bourbon Trail with custombourbontours.com. They're the best at what they do, custombourbontours.com. Open phone lines for anyone who wants in on the conversation. Last show to get in on the raffle. Right here, baby. The Bucket of Champions awaits. It is a freezing day in New York City today. I woke up, I checked the Apple Watch, I saw it said 17 degrees, and I said, no way. But yes way. Yes way indeed. All right, here we go. Let's say hello right now to Nate, parentheses Nate. Hello, Nate.
Hey, Jake. Long time. How's it been? Happy
Nate,
holidays.
Happy holidays. How was the game yesterday? Did you freeze your rear end off?
I was pretty well prepared. I've done work outside, so I had 2 or 3 layers on every inch of my skin outside of my eyeballs. I was all right. If you're dressed prepared for the cold, it's just cold. So yeah, it didn't feel bad at all.
Mm-hmm.
The Jets are a whole nother story. Obviously, they made it feel a lot worse. I don't know. Yesterday's game was like watching. It was like watching a kid on Madden almost, like coaching wise. It seemed like on 4th down, it was essentially a flip of a coin because times when it didn't make sense to go on 4th down, they won. Times when it did make sense, it was just like, oh, we have Aaron Rodgers who might retire, who's clearly trying to throw his 500th touchdown to Devontae, and like it's not Ulbricht's call. It was we're at our own 30 up 6-0. And no point in do you ever go for that? It was asinine to see them just give the team their first momentum. Like you play the Herm. I don't know if you play the Herm Edwards clip, but as Jets fans, we all know like you played to win the game.
The play call sucked too.
So,
like honestly, I didn't have a big issue with them going for it. I was like, you know what, screw it, why not? But it's like, how have we not learned to use Braylon Allen in short yardage? Like it's mind-boggling.
But football-wise, how does that make any sense?
It doesn't.
If you're trying to win a game and you're up 6-0 and you're at home and they just travel to LA and it's 10 a.m. for them, and they still haven't woken up and they don't have a score, and then you give them the ball at the 30 and they're a competent offense. They could get 30 yards, especially with momentum. That sideline went crazy. Like there were Rams fans all over the sideline. They woke up that stadium. Not that it was ever going to be awakened, but the Rams fans that filled up that's like it made absolutely no sense to go for that. It's just we don't give a shit about winning. Aaron wants to go for fun and he thinks there's a play call that he wants to go for it. So it has nothing to do with football. You would never go for it up 6-0 at home. Like if that's a playoff game, why there's whatever. It's just not football. It's not winning football. Like it's just flipping a coin. So that part was tough to watch. It became straight laughable. I was with Chef Kev. Shout out to him for upgrading my seats a little bit. Shout out to you as well for the gifting too that I gave to a friend of mine that I got to avoid seeing the mom and kid the whole time, which is great.
I hope they're not watching the show right now.
No. Hopefully he's in school. Actually, no, he's probably not in school. He's on winter break, whatever. But yeah, it's just like, and it's not even. We don't suck at football. That's obviously why this season is tough for so many of us. Like we're just like average at every. Are we a bad rushing team, Jake? Like absolutely terrible at running the ball?
It feels like it. I also think the scheme is bad too. Like the offensive line coach is also the run game
I think
coordinator.
yeah, there's no identity. There's no attempt to like try to run the ball. Like I think another caller brought it up about the attempts guys had, but like I wouldn't say at times we can move like first playoff rip, we moved the line 8 yards. Like when we were at the 1 and had to get a little space for Aaron. I would say like we're a bottom 10, bottom 15 rushing team. We're a bottom 10, bottom 15. It's rushing, passing, defense. Like it's everywhere. We're just like 15th to 20th. But we just lose games. Like we'll never find a way to win no matter what. Like we're not a terrible passing team. We're not a terrible pass defense. Our rush defenses with this shitty scheme is made to bend but not break and give up yards. Like we saw that with Salah. It's just it's so shitty to watch. Like it's 4 down. Like Chef Kev and I, we're watching every single play as 4 down linemen and Quincy and Sherwood like 8 yards off the ball. It's just so easy for a quarterback. It's so frustrating to watch after 4 years. And like we thought this was a year that 7 wins might turn into 3 or 4 more. And it's just not happening. I've never seen so much of a non-coach on the sideline though. He's out there making no decisions, and just out there with a headset, I get, and letting Rodgers do everything. And I'm totally torn at this point. I don't. It's like I don't give a shit what happens next year. I don't even know. Rodgers could come back. Rodgers might come back.
If he's back, Nate, he's only back if the coach and GM want him back, not because we want him back or Woody or Benigno. Who, like, you know what I mean? It's like everyone's got to be bought in, and Rodgers himself has got to be willing to learn a real offense and scrap this West Coast nonsense. I can't do it anymore. It was like an AAU team just trying to give everyone, like playground like stats yesterday, just running around.
It was compared to it's compared to youth basketball coaching these days because it's just nothing. There's nothing going on there. Absolutely, but
it's a joke.
Dude, Rodgers it's going to be a weird dynamic. Like even when a GM and coach does come in, they're pretty much removing Rodgers from his throne. Like Rodgers runs shit there today. Like this, it's his show, it's his locker room. It's whatever goes on against Buffalo is going to be because he wants it to happen. Like he's going to have to take a major step back and a major, ego hit almost because he runs the Jets right now. He kind of has put us in this position. I still think he was a part of the Salah firing. That phone call that happened with Woody that night, and they were just asking him how his ankle felt. Now, fuck that. He was saying like, "Are you good with Ulbrich? Can we?" Like, because I'm done and I want wins.
I think it was the opposite, which is why he's so pissed. I've heard he told Woody like, "Hey, like let's be patient here," like trying to give him like, "Hey, we're gonna turn it around. Like it's still early," and that's why he was so pissed that Salah got fired because they literally fired him the next day.
So then has Woody just gone senile this year? Because like you said, he hasn't shown this for 20 years. Like he hasn't shown interrupting, and he fired a head coach for the first time mid-season. He's not a guy that's to dabble and do this. Now we're hearing fucking Madden ratings.
That's what the Athletic story said. That literally Woody called Rodgers the day before Salah got fired, and Rodgers preached patience and whatnot, and Woody never mentioned anything about firing Salah, and then he fired him the next day, and that obviously that had a significant rupture in their relationship.
Yeah, I mean he's having a deal for, but was he 77, 78? Like, is he actually going crazy? Like, could something have happened where he's just like, oh shit, I'm gonna die? Or like maybe he got diagnosed with something where we don't know, and he's just like fuck this, like I'm going crazy till I'm out, and then I'm handing it off to Brick, and I'm showing him the way.
He wanted to win so badly that he just meddled. He lost faith in the people he had running his team, so he thought, screw it, I'm going to step in here because I have to, and it had the complete opposite effect. I mean, let's be real. Firing Salah 5 games in has proved to be the downfall of the season. Now, I don't know how good they would have been if they kept Salah all year, but they would be better than a 4-win team right now.
Last time I was, last time Woody stepped in, right? Wasn't that for Tim Tebow? Didn't he kind of make that a Woody thing where he wanted Tebow for the jersey sales, ticket sales, like things were not going in the right direction with the Sanchez regime and Rex and whatnot, and what's his name in Miami was having success in the Wildcats, so we're like, all right, we're gonna do our own Wildcat with Tim Tebow. Wasn't that a Woody thing too?
I mean, Mike Tannenbaum will tell you that was his decision, but I'm sure Woody was on board with the idea of bringing in Tebow and getting the back page right after the Giants had won the Super Bowl. I don't know. But that's also like, think about it. Like, if that's the only thing we can bring up here, that's a long time ago, right? I mean, like, I didn't hear anything about Woody meddling when Joe Douglas got his 5 full years before this year.
My point is just like, you're clearly not good at it. Or if it was Mike T, then I'm even more nervous about what's going on why he's selecting our GM. But one more thing, Jake. So I took one of my kids from my basketball program to like use my points for the player entrance thing where they like walk on the green carpet and take pictures and whatnot. Um, so guys, it's pregame. You're not expecting all the guys to stop for autographs. DJ Reed is by far one of the greatest personalities we have on this team. Just a standout guy. He stopped for every single person, boy, girl, man, child, took selfies and spoke to him. I talked about congratulating his kid and had Merry Christmas. Like, just a great guy. Gonna miss DJ Reed. He's obviously gone. It was interesting. Who is the one Jet? I mean, that wasn't a no name that stood all the way on the wall side where there wasn't any people, gave no high fives. Like even the fourth string D tackle is close enough to just like put out his hand and get a couple pounds as he's not going to stop and do autographs. But who was the one Jet that kind of hoodie up? You could tell who he was, obviously. You saw his face coming in, but he stood on the wall side all the way in. It was really he didn't acknowledge anybody or any of the kids as he made his way in.
Who was it?
Any guesses based on how things have been trending?
I mean, was it Garrett?
It was Garrett.
Yeah.
I mean, he didn't look over at anyone. At one point he walked by. Obviously, he's an Ohio State guy. So no one. I'm seeing we're kind of towards the end, and I'm hearing all the kids yelling, and he's just kind of beelining. But again, wall side, not even high fives for anyone. And I give an OH, and I hear like IO. It's just like a depressed, like flat IO as he passes in his in his parka.
Clearly he's frustrated, he's pissed, and that's on the new regime to get him to buy back in. Because I don't care how mad he is, I'm not trading Garrett Wilson. I'm not. I honestly, what Garrett Wilson should do is he should call up his buddy Terry McLaurin down in Washington and talk with him about how to survive incompetency at the beginning of your career until it finally gets better. Because that's what I hope happens for Garrett Wilson here soon. Or Mike Evans in Tampa is the best example that he's going to the Hall of Fame and he's got a ring on his finger because he was patient and was loyal and stuck it out,
Yeah, I think Garrett's probably one of us too. Like he probably had a lot of expectations and hypes about his career and wins and whatnot, but it surrounded around one person, and that was Aaron Rodgers. And that one person is flat out going to be the reason that he might not be here. Like we've heard guys talk about how his dad says he's frustrated and he doesn't want to change anything. It's just like Garrett is yeah, it's tough because he wears it on his face. Like he's not a guy to hide his emotions and say, yeah, everything is okay. Like he's gonna not to a T, but he's gonna say how he feels and he's gonna let you know that he's not a happy person right now. I think a lot of that has to do with just straight winning, and he's seeing other guys around the league, and he thought he was gonna have a bigger year, and he thought the Jets were gonna have a bigger year, and they'd be playing in big games right now. So I think that's a lot of it. Garrett hasn't lost this much his entire life. He's lost 4 years in a row. Like he didn't do that in middle school. He didn't do that in high school. He didn't do that at Ohio State. Like this is hitting him in the face as what, like a 24-year-old where you're already going through enough shit in your life as a 24-year-old figuring out life. I feel bad for the guy. It's like a DJ Reed. I told DJ Reed on his way out, congrats on your kid. Go get the bag. Get the fuck out of here. Thanks for being a great Jet and move on. And I'll miss the guy. And like we have 2 more years, like you say, of Garrett's control, so he can't just give us the finger and leave. But it's tough, It's like Garrett's the only jersey I got autographed hanging in my plate. I love the guy. I think he's a straight up, like, I want the C on his chest, and I want him to be like the David Wright of our generation, if you will, but maybe with a ring.
Look, I just look at it like this. He's pissed. He's frustrated. I think with a real coach, a real general manager, I think they could get this thing back on track with Garrett Wilson. And if he wants to go, 1,000,000%. Too bad. I mean, unless the team is blowing me away with an offer for him, I'm hanging up the phone. Like any conversation with Garrett Wilson in a trade, it starts with 2 first-round picks. If that's not met, I'm not trading him. I don't care how upset he is right now.
I agree, and I think you made a great point with the GM and coaching. Like, what opening in the last 5 or 10 years we have 2 dudes on every level of offense and defense. Period. We got 4 O-linemen. We've got 2 to 3 stud D linemen. We've got at least 1 to 2 great linebackers. Like if Sherwood comes back, but we have Quincy, who was a top 20, 25 player voted by his peers in the NFL this year, right? We've got 2 D-backs. We got a Michael Carter. We got one of the best nickels in the league. We thought we had one of the best corners in the league. We have one of the best running backs in the league. We have as of right now, one of the best duos at wideout in the league. Like, there's a lot if you're looking at if you're a Belichick was looking at or Vrabel or whoever these guys are going, there is a lot to work with there. Like there's a lot to work with there. So as a GM or coach, yeah, you're absolutely right. Like this is just like we're watching AAU football basically. You roll it out and let the point guard do what he wants and shoot 33s and go for it in 4th and 1 at our own 30 and then not get back on defense. So yeah, that's essentially what we're watching right now, which kind of excites me for next year. Like if I had to bet, I would say the Jets are going to come out like 6-3 and just shock the world because they're the fucking Jets next year. And we're going to have no expectations and we're going to be flat and they're going to come out and this coaching staff is going to put all the talent I just mentioned and they're going to figure out how to win games. Like how many games are one possession this year?
Yeah.
They're going to turn those one possession games into wins. It's really not, I mean, it is hard, but it's not that hard based on the zero of a coaching staff we have right now.
I think with the right coach this year, this team could be in the playoffs. I don't think it's crazy at all. So I don't think it's nuts. Hit the like button if you're just tuning in. Comments, questions, super chats. Cut the line. Couple super chats I want to get to here. But first, shout out to Thomas Roseman. He gifted a membership. Thomas, thank you. You're in the raffle. You might be one of the last people to get in the raffle because I think you're the first person all show for the 90-plus minutes I've been on to gift the membership. You are. So, Thomas, thank you. Ralphie writes in, last week versus Jacksonville, he wanted to score and let the defense hold him. This week, complete opposite. Like, Brick doesn't understand this is a head coach audition. I mean, if it's an audition, he failed it weeks ago. He's terrible. Ladies and gentlemen, after a comment yesterday made by this guy, I didn't think it'd be possible for this guy to say something even dumber. Yesterday, a fellow by the name of Evan McDonald wrote in that you can't ever hire a coach that's been fired before and expect them to have success. That was why he said the Jets should not hire Mike Vrabel. I guess he forgot about Andy Reid, Bill Belichick, Jim Harbaugh, Dick Vermeil. Anyway, we can keep going, but you get the point. Today, Evan writes in, Garrett Wilson is so overrated and has been a cancer with all these distractions and sideline outbursts. Ladies and gentlemen, we thank Evan for his service. We thank him for providing a good laugh at his stupidity. But Evan's day is officially done.
Now look what you've done. No more protection from the Asmaniacs. Had to pull you out of the chat and cast you down with the Sodomites. Some time in here will feel like you've been run over by the lane train. You understand me? You catch my drift? Give him another 24 hours to think about it.
Come on, man. Stupid. He also wrote, comparing Garrett to Evans is like comparing Sauce to Revis. Mike Evans has been a better player through 3 years if you look at their stats, but the comparison, I think, works. Mike Evans never had any success in Tampa as far as going to the playoffs and winning games until Tom Brady got there. Remember, the Bucs had never made the playoffs since their Super Bowl, or hadn't won a playoff game since their Super Bowl season in 2002 until Brady got there in 2020. Mike Evans from 2014 through 2019 was one of the best receivers in the league. 1,000 yards every year. But unfortunately, never made the playoffs. I'm just going to look at Mike Evans' first 3 years from a stat perspective. 31 games, 170 catches, 2,527 yards, and 15 touchdowns. Now let's compare Garrett Wilson's first 3 years in the league. 49 games, 3,132 yards, 268 receptions, 13 total touchdowns. So, yards-wise, Garrett actually has more yards through Mike Evans' first 3 seasons. Reception-wise, Garrett Wilson has... Hold on. This is only giving me his first 2. Let's see. Let's see. Yards wise, Garrett Wilson's at 3,132. Mike Evans is at 3,578. So Evans does have more yards, but it's within 400 yards there. Receptions, Garrett has 268 receptions. Mike Evans had 238 receptions. So 268 versus 238. Garrett's had more catches than Mike Evans had through his first 3 years. Now, touchdowns, you can't even compare it, right? Evans had 27 touchdowns through 3 years. Garrett has only 13. But as bad as the quarterback play might have been for Mike Evans' his first couple of years, we can't even compare it to Zach Wilson, who had 8 touchdown passes all last year. Aaron Rodgers now has 24 touchdowns this year. That eclipses the total amount of touchdown passes Zach Wilson had in 3 years. He had 23 total. So it's not even comparable. But my comparison, Evan McDonald, you bum, I think it works. Stack has gifted 1 channel membership. Stack, thank you very much. You're in the raffle, so I stand corrected. Now 2 people have gifted a membership. I got some more super chats I want to get into here. So let's get to that coming up. Hit the like button. And if you missed Joe B, he was on with us for the first 50 minutes of the show. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time to take another call. And for the first time, we will debut a brand new intro for an Asmaniac fan favorite.
I got my Iron UG. I hope you like my Jets take. You know they call me David T. It's not easy for me to see, but if you bring me full stream, you might like what I had to say. I'll need to get real damn close, cause my vision is dog shit.
I love it, Jake. Oh my God. Now the Gator does that?
Gator did all of it. I didn't even know what it was. So
oh my God. He's so terrific at what he does. I thank you. I love it. I'm just glad to be part of your show. Love the Jets and love the people and all that kind of stuff. But thank you, Gator. That's terrific. That is truly terrific.
Well deserved, David. I think you got to be the fastest caller in the history of the show to get their own intro. I mean, your first call was on November 20th. That's a month ago, and you already have an intro? That's incredible.
Wow. Yeah, well, I'm honored. I am totally honored, So what did I I was you guys took me back on this. I'm thrilled. But okay. So good stuff on your show so far. You guys are bringing up great points. And you were just talking about Mike Evans. Well, I live down here in Clearwater and for the last 8 years, and they used to say Mike Evans was quarterback proof, and but he didn't have to deal with Garrett Wilson dealing with, Zach Wilson. It's totally different, as you were just talking about, and Nate, I agree with Nate as far as, Woody, he's not that he's losing it or whatever, but let's just go back. I mean, he hired Joe Douglas and Robert Saleh and, a lot of years of patience and, the whole bit. And so I think that Woody's really not capable of making really good decisions. So who knows what's gonna come out of his mouth,
Look, they gotta get this right, David. I mean, look, Woody's got to see through the nonsense out there, and Mike Vrabel has said he would take this job, and if true, that should be your target. You got a guy on the record saying he'd take your job, depending on the GM hire. Like, find me a coach that's going to be more qualified to fix what this mess is than Vrabel is right now. Experienced disciplinarian, has won before. He to me would be the perfect fit for what this team needs right now. That's the guy that they have to go face to face with and get this deal done.
And that's my main point. It's been repetitive, and I think it should be more and more repetitive and reiterated, as much as we can. It comes down to that decision, the GM and the coach. And darn it, we could turn it around immediately. Start turning it around immediately going into next year. That's my feeling.
David, how is your left eye? It's looking extra red today.
Yeah, I kind of figured you were going to ask me. I was using drop. I had it in all day yesterday. My contact in all day yesterday, and it was all comfortable and everything. I got home. I was over at my brother's house. I got home and took my lens out. And then put your show on, and but it feels good. It's red, and I think now I change lenses once a month, so I think now it's time for a lens, a fresh lens to get in there, and we'll see how that works out. But yeah, no, it's okay. But it's I really through the years when I had an eye irritation every now and then, I could get it cleared up completely in a like a couple weeks or a month, but this time's a little different. It seems to be lingering on, so we're working on things, but we'll be okay. And I if I can say something
You can
to
say
one of
anything you want.
to one of your listeners as Santa Claus. So I'm Santa Claus now, and I'd like to say to Bobby, I know Bobby's not a Santa Claus fan, and I understand that, but I just hope he doesn't want my butt on a candy cane, because I got a lot of work to do in the next couple of days.
Ladies and gentlemen, the great David T referencing a moment that happened late last week that will go down in history.
Shut up, Dave. I can't stand Santa Claus. Shut the fuck up, Santa Claus. You fucking eye. Oh, look at my eye. Oh, look at my eye.
You seem like you're in a good mood and ready to go for 20 more hours.
Yeah, I mean, hey, like I said, Jake, but we gotta take care of the kids and their families for Christmas. So, a candy cane in the butt, it'd be kind of hard to ride the sleigh and everything,
Well said, David. Well, I hope you have a great day, great Festivus. Merry Christmas to you, and I'm glad you like the new intro, man. And I think it's going to be a big hit with the Asmaniacs.
Merry Christmas to you and all your listeners, and I love your show. And Gator, thank you. I just absolutely love it, and what a great feeling.
Ladies and gentlemen, the great David T. Hit it.
I got my Iron UG. I hope you like my Jets take. They call me David T. It's not easy for me to see, but if you bring me full stream, you might like what I had to say. I'll need to get real damn close, cause my vision is dog shit.
What a moment in time, folks. Where were you when the David T. intro played for the first time? I know where I was. Same place I always am. Tyrone with a super chat. Woke up late but heard Joe. Bring the team back with Vrabel and Thomas. Let's go Jets 2025. Give me Dimitroff, give me Vrabel, and I'll be very excited about the front office and coaching staff. Start there. Thomas Roseman. Did I shout Thomas out already? He gifted a membership as well. Boom. Let me see if I can pull up who got it. It went to listener Tywin Vallis. And Stack, your membership went to Friend a Bill. So those are the two most recent channel membership donations. Let's get to more of your calls right now. The great Chef Kevin's on the line. He was rocking an Asmaniac beanie yesterday at Jet Life. What's up, Chef Kev?
Jake, how you doing, man?
I'm good, man. I'm hanging in. The Jets stink, but we've known that for a while.
Word, man. Hey, thanks for having me on your platform, man. Appreciate you putting in the work yesterday, 4 hours on radio with a 3-hour show after a Jets loss, man. That's really hard to do.
Brutal.
You did it, man. You muscling through. Hey, man, we got 2 more games left, man.
Finish strong.
We're getting into our busy season of the off season where, that's where we like to shine. That's where we do great things. It's just like these Met fans being all happy and shit with the Soto stuff and whatnot. Like they remind me of, of the Jets. Like, they're basically the baseball version of the Jets, man. And, it's at least they had a better season this year than the Jets. But, that's where I kind of take that, man. We're going to move into a better time soon. It's just unfortunate, man. Like, I didn't want to go to the game yesterday, but I felt like I had to because I paid for the tickets. There's no way for me to get rid of them. I'm a fan of the team. I enjoy seeing them, but just the cold, man. Like, I was unprepared with the feet wear. That was one mistake on my part. I didn't wear like boots at all. Everything else was good. But the footwear, man, and it wasn't really that windy at where I was sitting, man. If you look at like the flag on the goalpost, man, they weren't moving around all crazy, which is strange how we both missed kicks and whatnot. But I just think the footing, you don't know how crazy that turf is in that kind of degrees, like the effect on everything. And you saw basically what the Rams were doing, man. Their passing game wasn't all there, man.
No.
Like
They ran the ball down the Jets' throat. They're like, oh, they can't stop the run. They don't have Quentin Williams. Like, we're going to ground and pound. And they were the more physical team, it felt like.
Absolutely, man. When you have a front with Kinlaw and Solomon Thomas, and then Reddick on the other side, man, that's all you need to see as an offensive coordinator in those type of conditions is just run the ball. There was nobody stopping it, like, and then when Reddick went out and Clemens went in, there's still no difference, man. It was still the same old stuff, man. So like when we talk about the cornerbacks and everything, like for the most part, they did their job, man. There was, other than that little tight end drag route that they scored a touchdown on, like other than that, like they did a pretty good job, man. I was pretty impressed. It's just then like the coaching, man. Then it came to like field position, and it's just like having that feeling of just knowing like we're gonna mess this up somehow, man.
Right.
Like it's bad. Like Nate, he was on, he got on just before me, and like I'm telling him, like, dude, I'm gonna leave at the beginning of the fourth quarter because I already know what's gonna happen. And sure enough, everything happened the way it happened. And I thought I'm sick in the head. Nate is sicker. This guy somehow, like, he was there in a boot. He messed up something with his leg or whatever, walking around with a cane. I'm like, dude, let's get out of here. He's like, no, I want to stay. I'm like, what? You want to stay for this stuff, man? Like, all right, I'll rock with you, man. I'll stay. And it just got to the point when we missed that field goal where it wasn't even close to, where it's like,
torn calf for Nate.
Dude, nah, this is torn calf, dude. Damn. That's
Nate,
bad.
when are you going to update your profile picture, by the way? COVID was like 5 years ago. He still has a mask in his picture. I just noticed that.
Nate took some of my material. I'm not really trying to step in the ring with him, but when he said Garrett Wilson is like the David Wright or whatever, but he did specify like, wanting the rings or whatever, I'm like, all right, David Wright, he went out bad, man. It wasn't even gracefully like Derek Jeter. Derek Jeter, he had the walk-off hit to end his career and everything like that. Like, we need Garrett to do something amazing, man. Like, the only way I'll accept the Garrett Wilson trade is 2 firsts and a second or a third. Because what are we going to do? We're going to trade Garrett and we're still going to need a hole at wide receiver? Like, it makes no sense, man. Like, why? Like, he's on a good deal right now. Figure out what you got to figure out. But he wants to win, man.
Right.
Who else on that team wants to win more than him? I don't know. He shows it.
And he's quarterback proof. He's put up numbers with no matter who's throwing him the ball. And he's frustrated, rightfully so. I just saw a quote from Jeff Ulbrich. We need to get Garrett the ball more. Like, let's go, man. Get him and Rodgers in a room if they're not on the same page and figure this out, man. They're there's no reason for this relationship to not be strong here. There's 2 games to go. Be a professional and finish strong. And then the next GM is going to come in, evaluate the roster, and go, Garrett Wilson's a no-brainer to extend. I truly believe that.
Yeah, I totally agree, man. He's the one dude that you got to make sure you keep or whatever. And Brees, I'm a fan of him, man. Like, I'm on the boat of we should keep him because I like Braylon. I like Bobby's boy Braylon, but he hasn't shown me enough where he could like really create on his own. There was that dump pass to Brees in the flats where I'm like, there's no shot we're gonna get it. And Brees literally did a little hezzy joint and split right through him where I'm like, see, this is the guy that we need. We need to give him more touches, man. Give him more touches. Let him create on the outside and give him some space. Just these dive plays, these off guard runs. Like, you're just stuffing it up in the middle, man. Like, it's not working. Let him create in space, man. Brees is a weapon. Like, utilize him. Isaiah Davis, he hasn't really shown me much where it's like, all right, a reliable number two. Braylon showed me enough where, hey, let's keep him as a number two. Something happens to Brees, I'll be good with him. But we gotta, and Brees was drafted in the second round, so still for the cap, like it's still flexible for us with his, with the amount of production that he brings to the team. Like I think we're good, man. Tight end, that's a need that we really need to kind of figure out. Line, keep building on this, man. We're not in that bad of a spot. The coaching for sure, man. Not being able to punt at all and still lost the game. Like, how does it even happen, dude? Like, I don't even remember Morissette going on the field and until people started talking about like, yo, we didn't even pump the ball. I'm like, you know, that is true. Like, we got to play the field better. Last two seasons, our identity was defense. Like, we all knew that our identity was defense. Top 3, top 5 in the league, whatever it was statistically or whatever. This year, dude, the identity is gone, man. The offense is trash. Special teams, forget that, man. After the Denver game, you already know about me, man. I was calling for Greg to get the hell up out of here.
Yep.
And defense, dude, everything has been abysmal. It's like it's pathetic, man. Like, and it hurts me to say where I'm walking around wearing my Jet stuff. Dude, I stopped, man. Like what you said, man, as maniac all day. Like, you know, that's the safest thing for me to wear where no one's gonna, you know, talk smack to me and make me in a bad mood and all that kind of stuff, man. It's just been awful. And the Rodgers jerseys, dude, on the website, they're going for $23 right now. It's like $23 for Rodgers jersey. Dude, I spent over $500 on jerseys last year on these Rodgers, and now you can get them for $23.
I know, man. It's the pain of losing, Chef Kev. I mean, it's just and like you're a season ticket holder. I mean, secondary market for this game yesterday. I mean, it's a joke. You spend all this money, face value seats, and then by the time you get to November, December, you basically got to pay people to take the tickets off your hands in a lot of cases.
So that's my thing, man. That's my thing. It's like I lost money this year, and to know like at this point for next year where they want my money right now, and there's no guarantee that we're gonna have a winning season next year or anything good to look forward to. It's like, why am I gonna dump the money out? Where my wife is like complaining to me, like, why are we going? Why are we doing this and that or whatever with the games? I couldn't even take my son yesterday because he's a little under the weather. God forbid I took him to the game and he got sick.
Mm-hmm.
Then we celebrate Christmas and all that kind of stuff. We go to her family's house in the Bronx, like, you know, then I'm gonna hear that or whatever, and I'm already down because, you know, of the Jets season and all that kind of stuff. Plus, we lost an awful game yesterday. Score a touchdown and miss the extra point. Like, what kind of garbage is this, man? It's just it's this. I can't. So for next season, the game plan is like, all right, there's a chance, which I don't want to think about, but there's a chance we're not going to be all that great. Where now I could pick and choose which games I go to. There's already 2 games that I know I could go to a suite in. And then the other ones, you know, I'll pick and choose and save a bunch of money. I won't have to shell out the $4,000 to $5,000 like I do every year, man. It's like, what's the incentive for me? My rep has already messed up a bunch of times, man. Like I won stuff. There's things you could bid on. I won a Lavernius Cole's helmet autograph during the offseason. Still haven't gotten it. Nobody knows anything. My points got deducted, so I didn't even get my points back. Not only the merch that I won, dude. It's a mess. And then there was something last year too, where they did like a holiday thing and for picture photos and whatnot at the stadium. Unfortunately, it rained that day, but I used points for that, and I never got refunded for the points because they said that we were going to do it this season. This season it never happened. So it's like, what's even the point, man? The best thing about this whole thing of being a season ticket holder for me was actually a training camp. Training camp was a fun time.
Right.
It shouldn't be like that. The fun stuff should be this. It should be playoffs. It should
winning. Meaningful games, man. Like we're talking about a GM and coach. We've been talking about it for a month already because they fired the GM a month ago. That's how bad this year has been.
It's a mess, man. It's 11 o'clock. Doors are opening up, man. I just want to say thank you. I appreciate you, man. Great job. All the Asmaniacs, all the listeners, all the Jet fans out there. Have a Merry Christmas. Happy Hanukkah too. To all my Jewish brothers and sisters. I celebrate Hanukkah as well. That falls on Christmas as well. So, you know, we don't have to worry about the Chinese so much. I got my mom coming over. We got the bagels. We got the lox, smoked fish.
Love that.
All that stuff. Capers, cream cheese, green onions. We got all the good stuff, man. Be safe, y'all. Have a great holiday season, man. If I don't talk to you, man, have an awesome New Year, man. Let's get this going.
Ladies and gentlemen, Chef Kevin, one of the greats. I mean, the Cloverleaf Tavern in New Jersey. I mean, let's go, man.
Yes, sir.
Caldwell, New Jersey, right?
That's right. That's right.
I mean,
Let's go. Gorman, Gorman, your spot's here, man. Let me know what's up. I got you.
Ladies and gentlemen, the great Chef Kevin, one of the greats, man. Truly an awesome dude. He was rocking the Asmaniac beanie yesterday. I saw a photo of him at the game, which was great. Him and Nate. Thomas, you gifted 2 memberships. I got you down for that. Thank you, sir. Shout out to Bo C. Bo C coming through for the people. First person to give us a 5 spot. 5 more raffle tickets for Bo.
It's the Asmaniac membership raffle. For every membership gifted, you receive 1 ticket entered in the raffle to win epic prizes.
These are from Bo, Mark Ferrero, MMM Rocketeer, We Bama Souls, DBC, JC, Wishbee, all receiving channel memberships. Welcome, welcome, welcome. All right. We're over 2 hours here almost, so I got to try and fly through some of the callers who are still on hold. Tyrone says, woke up late, but heard Joe say, okay, we read that one. Here's this one from Bo. How many times are we going to watch players blow assignments, blocks, blow coverage with no accountability on the sideline? Get Vrabel here now. Amen. Period. Worst coach team I've ever watched. Without question. By far. It's a joke. I've never seen a more pathetically coached team. Ever. Adam Gase wins more than 4 games with this roster. I swear to you. It is true. Ladies and gentlemen, the great Rick Kent is up early out on the West Coast, and he's given us 5, count it, 5 raffle tickets for him, but 5 memberships for you.
We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Raw Power, Daniel, Tyler Ussery, Winston Grant, and Paulie. Uh-oh. Do we have trouble in the chat here? Friend of Bill, how much the band at William York? Chat, fill me in. What has William York said? I've been trying to multitask while doing the show today, so I haven't seen what he said. But friend of Bill, you know I love a good bounty. All right? It is Festivus, so if you have some grievances you want to air out, you better let me know soon. Anyway, let me get to more calls here. Let's say hello right now to Yeti. Hello, Yeti.
Yo, what's up, Jake? How you doing, man?
Hey, Yeti, what's going on?
Hey, not much, man. Dude, those are really good calls, man. Chef Kev, that was a really good call. Like, I don't know how I'm going to trump that. I don't know. Oh, can I say Trump? But I don't know how I'm going to beat that. But
yes, you could say the word Trump.
Okay. I mean, and Nate too, dude. Those are great points, man. And even David with the eye, but whatever. I mean, those are good calls. They're tough to beat.
Do you think we should call him David with the eye as opposed to the David T mantra?
Or Red Eye David, catch the red eye. There's a lot of things.
Red Eye David is pretty funny too.
Yeah, I mean, I was waiting background, so I couldn't type because usually I'm a wise ass in the chat, and I had a lot of shit in my brain. But yeah, that's the best I came up with, Red Eye David. But dude, so I wanted to just a couple quick points. I got 13 here. I know we usually try to stick to 13 points. So getting rid of Garrett, dude. Is that really, we're really talking about that? We're really talking about getting rid of Garrett?
Well, I mean, the media is making it into a story here, right? Rich Cimini started it when he said that he's heard from someone in Garrett's camp that he wouldn't be surprised if Garrett requested out. And then Garrett didn't exactly shut it down with his comments, right? He said, I love the Jazz, but he wasn't like definitive. I want to be here no matter, you know what I mean? So, and clearly he's pissed and frustrated, while at the same time, I don't think he's getting traded. Garrett Wilson has 2 more years under contract. I don't think any GM's coming in and then saying, yep, let's trade away our best weapon.
No shit, because we got a 50% chance that Tay's going to be here next year. So if you get rid of Devontae and Garrett, what do you got? Like, so I don't do guys. Garrett's going to be here we got him for 2 years, right? So he's got 987 right now, but Devontae is already up over 700. So Devontae is getting targeted a lot more. That's obviously true. And I could see in a young kid's eyes how he could be hurt about that a little bit. But at the same time, I mean, more production's happening. He's still slipping in. He's going to hit 1,000 yards this year. He's at 987. I mean, it's going to happen again. He'll probably end up hopefully over 11. I mean, we got 2 more games. If you can get 50, like 56, 50, 60 yards a game for the next 2 games, he'll get over 11. And I don't know, man. Like, I just don't see Garrett going anywhere. He's
unhappy. He might request a trade, but unless I'm getting 2 first-round picks, I'm not even considering it.
Exactly. I mean, I don't know. It's just funny to hear his name keep popping up. And my next point will be about Brees. I think Brees had a really good season, despite all the injuries and running into the back of linemen all year long. And people say, oh, well, he only had so many yards this game. Well, you watch the game. He runs right into the back of a lineman in front of him. I mean, not his fault. The line is pushed back into him as he's making his cut and trying to make his break, and he runs into the back of a lineman.
I'll say this, too, about Brees. Joe Caparoso tweeted this out. I think he's spot on. Brees Hall has 70 targets this year. He's caught 53 of them, so that's 76%. 5 catches, over 20 yards, 2 receiving touchdowns. That, to me, is an underutilized aspect of his game. I really believe the right offensive coordinator will look at Brees Hall and be like, he's the second best receiver on this team, assuming Devontae is not here if Rodgers isn't, right? I mean, like Brees, to me, does not get used the way that Christian McCaffrey, for example, gets used. And I think that's his comp. Like, that's the type of impact he could have on a game.
Well, was it week 1 or week 2 where AR hit him in the end zone, that like straight just seam shot down?
Have we seen that since? No.
Why aren't we using? I mean, he is a great receiver. The dude is great. I mean, just yesterday I saw him pull one out of his hand like it was out, and he caught it and he pulled it in. It wasn't right in the wheelhouse, but he got it and he pulled it in to him. And it was a great catch. So the dude can catch. He's a great receiver, and he needs to be used a lot more. He can't just run. Well, I mean, he's doing pretty good there too, aside of the blocking. But if he gets a little hole, you see, guy. I mean, he's about to hit 7. He's over 7, right, on the year, 7 something for rushing, just rushing.
Brees, you're talking about? Yes.
Yeah, 719 or no, sorry. But sorry, yeah, that's Adam's.
He's not going to get 1,000 yards, but
he's not. I know he's not going to get 1,000, but his total production, when you correlate his receiving game into it, like, he's a great player. I don't want to see Brees go anywhere. I don't want to hear any more bad talk about, Brees this and that and that and that. Last season, this time, this summer, we were talking about him being the 3rd best running back in the league. We were putting him in the conversation with McCaffrey, Barkley and Henry, and he was part of it. He was in that conversation, and now nobody's talking about it. But it's not his fucking fault. Sorry to cuss, but it's not his fault, man. He just got screwed this year. So sorry, man. I take a lot of time. That's only my second point. I'm sorry, Jake. But all right.
I got things to do today. I got other people on hold.
I know. I'm gonna bust through them. Okay. So
family show, Yeti. Family show. Continue.
Ooh. It was nice to see Conklin kind of get involved a little bit. He had 5 catches, 60 yards, 59 yards.
Yep.
But it was nice to see him get used a little bit just inside of that dump to the flat where he gets -2 yards or 3 yards. I don't know why they keep hitting Conklin in the flats, but for some reason they tend to throw it to him out there. But he's a seam dude. He should be worked over the middle. He's open. I watch Conklin. The dude blocks his guy or he's open. I love Tyler Conklin. Everybody wants to get rid of him. Well, it's kind of 50-50 on Conklin. But last thing, D-line Swiss cheese. That's the main problem. You can fix a lot of things, but that line, no matter what you fix on the offense, you can put up however many points you want. You can score how many points you want, but if it's 4th and 4, they're going to go for it. There is no fear on any offense going against our running game, a running, defense game, they just run right through us. There's no fear. They're like, fuck it. Oh, sorry. 4th and 2, go for it. 4th and 3, go for it. Oh, whatever, go for it. It doesn't matter. There's no fear. They don't care. They're not afraid of our defense. They just go for it. And that sucks because we were all sitting here last year loving our defense, saying that was the best we were putting them in, top 1, 2, 3 defense in the league. And it's gone now. It's totally gone. And that sucks. It sucks to watch. And I watch it melt away throughout the year and throughout the offseason. And as far as coaching goes, management goes, I got no advice, man. I'm just a fan. I just love the Jets. Whatever happens, happens. I'll be here next year. I'll be here in 10 years. I love you guys. I know you got good color callers. Later, buddy.
Yeti, appreciate it, man. They got to get it right. They're at a pivotal point in their franchise's history now. They have to get these hires right. It doesn't get better if they hire the wrong coach. That's it. Right coach, right general manager, you can turn it around. Rick says on the game, Kevin Harlan kept saying the Jets have the number 7 ranked season or defense. They sure don't play like it because they're not the number 7 ranked defense. Maybe in total yardage they are, in scoring they're bottom 5. And any big stop they've needed this year, have they gotten it? Did they get it against the Colts? They get it against the Patriots? Did they get it against the Dolphins? They stink. Michael Clemens stinks. Hassan Reddick stinks. Javon Kinlaw stinks. The entire defensive line, besides 2 players this year, stinks. Quinnen and Will McDonald. That's it. They can't get a stop to save their life. They're not good. Period. More of your calls right now. The big fella is on the line. Hey, big fella.
Hey, buddy. Going back to Nate's call, I don't think Woody's going senile. I think he believed the hype just like everybody else did. He bought that stupid chain 2 years ago. And, he panicked. He panicked and he started meddling. He saw his best roster that was ever assembled going down. And, he panicked. That's what I see. Now, I have 2 questions for you. First question, which player are you happiest not having back next year? And number 2, which coach are you happiest not having back next year? I'm calling it the GTFO awards. So,
I mean, which player am I thrilled that is going to be gone? Reddick?
Yeah.
But there's a lot of them.
That's me too, Reddick, for sure.
Reddick, I think, is number 1. He represents everything wrong with this season. Mm-hmm. And which coach? I mean, the easy answer is Ulbrich, but I think it's Keith Carter, honestly.
Okay.
Keith Carter is the run game coordinator and the O-line coach, and he's brutal. Brutal.
For me, it's Brent Boyer. Brent Boyer, I want him gone so bad. Keith Carter, he could be a tie with him, but Brent Boyer, GTFO, buddy. We don't want you anymore. I mean, we can't. Our special teams have been trash for the past 2 years now. So, anyway, it's a quick one today. So I'll talk to you soon, man.
Big fella, I appreciate you. Big fella in the chat wrote in Lazard. See what I did there? Nick Shine, big fella, they look alike. Ladies and gentlemen, hit the like button. All right, we got a couple calls left. Last chance to be eligible for the raffle. I think we're doing 5 winners this afternoon, right? We got the trading cards, the Copper John's gift card, a Gustbuster umbrella, and an item from the merch store. In the bucket of champions, baby. Listener Jeff R., you would have won, but it doesn't count. That was mean what I just did. Jeff, I might have to send you something anyway. That was mean. Philly Noodles, he's up next. What's up, Philly?
Yeah, that's fucked up. Yo, you should. That would have been me. That would be my look. Yeah, 2 quick things. First off, Garrett Wilson is a winner. I think he's just pissed he's not winning. It is what it is. He can't go nowhere. Everybody stop. Second thing is interesting with the tankathon going on. Obviously, the Browns are tanking on purpose, pulling Winston, which gives them more touchdowns. So in this case, they're trying to pull into that second seed because even if you got to pay, what's his face, Watson, even if you still got to pay him, you'll retain that one of those rookies if possible. What do you think if the Jets new regime decides they tell Woody, let's trade up to the number 2 seed if the Giants, if the Raiders aren't there? Think it's crazy?
No,
Possible.
I mean it would depend on how the next GM feels about the quarterback class. Like if they think it's worthy moving up, I wouldn't hate it if they have a plan. I would need to know what the cost is. Like I don't know how comfortable I would personally be trading away next year's one and picks this year to do it, but you can't rule it out.
I think.
Let's say Jacksonville's picking second, right? Would it be crazy if the Jets went from 8 to 2 to get a quarterback? I mean,
don't think so.
It cost a lot, but it could happen. They need a long-term answer at quarterback.
That's what I think. And then let's say you are still convinced, all right, we keep AR. Well, now you just solidified the next guy behind him. So now you're taking a calculated risk at that point if you keep AR. Or if you don't. But let's say if you do, it's calculated. You feel a little bit better about the situation. You got Olu. If he broke his foot, he'll be back in 2 months. We're not even playing then, so he has all the offseason to recover. And then you're just fixing your defense. Then the rest of the draft, you're just defense. I feel like it's not a crazy idea. Honestly, it really isn't a crazy idea. And if you're a GM and you're like looking at the board and you're like, damn, how about if we jump? You're going to make the calls, I think, no matter what. You're going to think about it. If the Giants and the Raiders aren't both 1 and 2. If the Browns fall in there as well, they could take them. They could take, Shador or whoever. But yeah, that's what I got. It's my hot take.
Look, so much has to happen before we get to that point, but the idea that the Jets wouldn't at least explore it if they liked one of these quarterbacks, like they should explore it. It depends on the cost, though. Yep. And also, once again, depends on the team that's there. Because a lot still has to be decided here. Like some of these 3-win teams are going to play each other, so the order is going to be things are going to change here. Right. So I think the Giants are pretty much locked into one of the top 2, but New England's not going quarterback at 2. Now New England's not going to make a deal with the Jets, I wouldn't think. But let's say Jacksonville's at 2, Tennessee.
They're going to lose Jacksonville.
Would they definitely go quarterback? I don't know, Philly. So I think it's possible. RFK Jr. is on the line. Hello, RFK.
Hi, Jake. How are you today? I've watching your show now since probably the start of March last year when I walked through the woods with Aaron Rodgers and I wanted him to become my vice president before I decided not to be a part of my campaign and run for president of the United States of America. But I've been watching and hoping that this Jets team falls apart so I can make Aaron my new vaccination czar. What do you think, Jake? Do you think I have a chance for having him out here?
Happy holidays, RFK.
We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
On that note, I think we got to end the show. Thank you all for watching. My name is Jake Asman. This has been the Jake Asman Show. Benigno was on for the first 50 minutes, so rewind if you tuned in late. Thank you to everyone who tunes in. There'll be another show this afternoon, film review with Fialco. Schedule's going to look a little different this week, all right? Check the Discord for updates when I'm going live. Tomorrow, I can tell you we'll go live at 11 a.m., but I'm doing morning radio all week. 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. The rest of this week, the following week as well. So please listen on the radio. 8:80 a.m. if you're in the New York area, or just download the ESPN New York app. That's the best way to listen. The app is great. You download it. It's free. Plays right on your phone. You can Bluetooth it to your car, put it on the iPad, smart TV. It's all right there for you. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you all. Jet fans, you guys are the greatest. Join the Patreon if you haven't already. Patreon.com/Jake Asman Show. Primal Gentleman writes in, the eye guy, LOL dude, we don't want to see that shit. Every time, ruin my lunch. Primal Gentleman, let me tell you, you might not like David T's eye, but guess what? You need David T's eye. Enjoy.
I got my Iron UG. I hope you like my Jets take. You know they call me David T. It's not easy for me to see, but if you bring me full stream, you might like what I had to say. I'll need to get real damn close, cause my vision is dog shit.
Breaking sports news just in from the Jake Asman Show. Tragedy struck the critically acclaimed show when one of Jake's regulars, the great Neil Impellizzeri, called in for what may have been his final appearance on the broadcast.
Let's go to Neil, who's up next. He was at the game yesterday. Neil, what do you got for us?
Listen, Jake, take your goddamn hand off that track mouse pad thingy. I've got 13 points at least I need to make before you cut me off. So sit back and enjoy the show. Hang up on all those other callers because I'm going to ramble like a drunk uncle talking politics on Easter Sunday. Oh, damn. I lost my train of thought. Oh, yeah. Jets got to get this offensive line figured out because it doesn't matter who we have on the center because these assholes can't hold the line. What the fuck? I think there's a little fire over there. Whoa. Hold on. Oh, Jake, I might need you to call 911. Oh, shit. Oh, Jesus Christ. What the hell's going on here? Oh, my Lord. Oh, Jesus Christ. Oh.
Oh my God. How do you do that? Oh my God. Oh my God. That was amazing. Oh my God. I think I cracked a rib from laughing at that. Oh my God, Gator, you're an animal. Oh my God, Neil's on hold. Neil.
Oh my God. That was so beautiful. I actually lit a friggin' I have so many ash fires that I swear to God, I think I almost had a situation like he's talking about where I lit something on fire and I almost had to put it out. Now I have a fire extinguisher under my desk, believe it or not. So Gator hit it 100% on the money.